It's TRAQUERIN time. Hey, everyone. It is time to get animated. Right, then hello. It is so good to see you all here tonight, my friends. And of course, before we say some hellos and everything, I want to welcome and as always, welcome and thank the greatest first officer in the history of Starfleet, my beautiful, wonderful, fantastic, dear friend, and again, Commander RAQUEL BRIGGS. Thank you for being here, Roxy, number one. How about that?
I love you so much. Thank you so much for this beautiful, warm welcome, and thank you to the chat. Thanks for everyone who showed up tonight to join us to talk about TAS.
Thank you. Oh, let's see. Oh, well, we have a visit there by a friend who is. A lot of people are saying the same thing. Like they popped in to say hello. I can't stay, but hello, and that's good though. At least I mean, if they can't stay, at least even though we love them staying here, just stopping in and saying hello is nice of them. And that was and well, at least we got an Eshpick here. I'll get to the Eshpick in a minute there.
Release the Esh cut.
Yeah. My goodness. Esh, good to see you, buddy. So I want to say some hellos to our wonderful chat here before we do some show notes and then leave orbit. First of all, of course, the great Phantom Outsider. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you. Lord Thoth popped in. He said he cannot stay, but Thoth, Avon lives. Long live the Legion, my good friend. Appreciate you. The great Eric K is here. What's up, my good friend? And is also another great master of the wrenching is Chris Persia, who is here as well. Chris Persia, thank you for being here.
Love you.
And also wonderful wrenches, the Felicianos, as in Raymond and Sandra.
Great They're making out in the chat, you know.
They are.
They are. They're always making out in the chat. They're the most romantic couple. They're wonderful. Hail to the Felicianos.
Yeah, well, we have another couple too, Mr. and Mrs. Dadman Walking are here.
Yeah, and Mrs. Dadman Walking 55 is just a delightful person, such great company, and so different from her husband. And they're both just delightful people. I enjoy their company immensely. So good to see you both.
It's great to see you both. We're so happy to see you here. Thank you for popping in. Let's see here. We also have D. Bud Martin. What's up, buddy?
Yay!
Try to get everyone written down who pops in, because I love to say hello to everyone there. Let's see here. Also with us is Box Night. Is Box Night 7, I should say. Box Night 7. Welcome.
I don't see that on my side. Whomever that is, welcome.
That was much earlier. But like I said, I started at the beginning there. Let's see here. Snorta Poopa Scuba.
Okay, so I had the worst migraine today, like really, really super bad. I was in bed most of the day with this migraine, and I'm just starting to recover from it. So if I'm a little subdued, I want to apologize and explain why. That said, I still have to do it.
Do it.
Snorta Poopas!
I hope that didn't complicate your migraine. Oh my god! But it was worth it, wasn't it? Yeah, so there you go. Let's see here. We have the great Steve Mitchum again. He's not sure if he can hang, but I saw him mentioned earlier. Steve Mitchum.
Yo, kiss brother. Maddie for me, please. Smooch that beautiful baby's face. She's such a beautiful little girl.
Great to see you, buddy. Always a pleasure. Let's see. Our great buddy Pat S, who somehow likes to call me CLOBBERIN times. I don't know why, but sure, he can do it. He can get away with it. Thanks, buddy. He says something. He won't say hello, but I won't say hello, but I can. I can stay till Harcourt, Fenton, Harry Mudd trilogy ends. Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
J-Man also, I think, my good buddy J-Man, a new friend, said he had to run, but he did pop in. Again, I'm glad, look, when you can't make it, you can't make it, which is a shame. But when you pop in and say hello, we really appreciate that because you're good pals.
It's so very thoughtful.
Absolutely. J-Man, good to see you, man. Liger fan, thank you for popping in. Yay. Great to see you.
Good to see you.
And, of course, the great Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete! I love you.
It's good to see you. There you go. She's getting that'll probably help get rid of her of her migraine. Yelling is good for that. So
It was so bad earlier today. I couldn't even move. I couldn't talk. I couldn't see.
yeah, really,
Just
wow.
rounding now. And I love you all so much. How can I not at least put forth maximum effort for enthusiasm for these wonderful people whom I adore?
Well, we're so glad to have you because, like I say, when you're feeling bad and you know, I mean, that's your health should come first. So, and when I'm hope this helps you make at least takes your mind off it a little bit, if nothing else.
It does. It does. I love you guys so much.
Dark Shadow Logan.
Oh, nice.
Great to see you, my friend. Thank you for being here. Brightest day. No evil escaping his sight. Kal-El 48. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. The Catman, aka DD Myers. Hey.
Myers.
Great to see you. Great to see you. Let's see. Just another red shirt.
Oh, nice.
Hey. Annie Lagabullas has popped in.
Good to see you. Fine, sir.
Let me see what Esh had to say, if I can backtrack and find it. If it didn't disappear already. There we go. We'll get started. But Esh wrote a big one there. Let me see here. Hey, everyone. Hope all doing well. So just stop by to say hi. Sorry I can't stay again this week.
Aww.
I have watched, Magazine means a bit of season, episode 1, the Beyond the Farthest Star. First impressions. We did that one last week. It's nice to see more accurately hear all of the TOS crew back together again. However, something for me is off.
Okay.
I understand that they are only 20-minute episodes, but for me, the voice acting seems forced. Well, at that time, these actors they weren't professional voice actors. Now, today, by the way, Ash, and I'll continue with, as we talked about a little bit last week, today, it's very common for actors who are in film and TV to engage in voice acting. Back then, you had your professional voice actors like Mel Blanc and Frank Welker and all those guys, but people from TV and movies didn't do a lot of voice acting back that time.
It takes special training. It takes special training.
And that's part of it, yes.
It's a completely different discipline. So the fact that your spider senses were tingling indicates that you're a good viewer, Esh. Yeah, that is an issue that we addressed last week. But yeah, 2 very different disciplines, doing voice acting and then, of course, acting live action in person.
That's changed because they started, but at the time, those people never really, it wasn't their field. The story seems rushed, and I'm not too fond of the animation. Well, that limited animation back then was pretty much all Saturday morning. Though it does remind me a lot of the OG Scooby-Doo cartoons. That being said, the content of the story seems promising, like any other awesome, intriguing Trek story from TOS that we all love so much. I'm excited to watch through it all. Have a great stream and take care. Well, you take care as well. Always good to see you, my friend. Yeah. And thanks, buddy. Thanks. We're glad you stopped by.
Please kiss your mom and dad for me, please.
Let's see here. Make sure we catch up with the chat. All right. And let's see. Crucible the Crazed. Welcome. Okie dokie. Well, let's see here. I think. All right. Let's see. I think I got everybody. And then because I'm going to do some show notes and we're going to get moving here.
Okay.
Hope I got everyone. All right. Let's see here. Everyone, this Monday night. Whoops. What did I do? Yep. Removing things is different. All right, here we go. This Monday night, folks, show note. On Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk, a Memorial Day special. My fantastic friend, Michael French of Retro Blasting, will be joining me. And since there's the MCU, for some of us, is no longer with us, and it is a memorial, we're going to give it a memorial by ranking all 23 of the existing MCU films from worst to first.
I like that turn of a phrase. That's a great little phrase. Worst to first.
I didn't make it up, but I've used it often because it's a sports type thing. And so, yes, those of you who are fans of the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I like a lot of the films, don't like them all. we're gonna go 23 on down. We're gonna do it. We're gonna count it down, and so it should be a lot of fun. Michael, of course, has a fantastic channel, and any of you know Retro Blasting, he's extraordinary. He's been on for a long time. We've been friends for a very long time, and yeah, so that should be a lot of fun. A lot of Marvel MCU talk. Monday night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The Mark C Comics Talk night that we have. So Monday night Mark C. So that will be what we're doing Monday night. Thank you so much for indulging me in that, everyone. Now we're going to get underway here. We're going to leave orbit.
Hey, Captain, you have a pretty clever comment from Mark D with a C at 19 minutes past the hour.
Is he here?
Yeah.
I didn't see him.
Welcome.
Oh, there he is.
He says, "Hail everyone! Did I miss the 29th part of Esh's review?"
Oh.
Or a 29-part Esh review. Sorry.
Yeah, no, he had to run, so he only left a 16-parter. Oh my goodness!
So nice to see you, Mark. Thanks for popping in. Hope you'll stay tonight.
Well, we're going to try to knock out 6 of them tonight, folks.
We are.
And we're not going to try. We're going to do it. Is what I meant. Sorry, we're going to do it. So here we are in week 2 of Star Trek: The Animated Series, and basically, as with our review of the original series, my wonderful first officer has a book for reference that she will now tell us a little bit about, and it is this one.
Yeah, this is Star Trek: The Official Guide to the Animated Series. Basically, I chose it because it's great for facilitating a stream insofar as it provides a little bit of a summary, and then it breaks down categorically all the different trivia surrounding each episode. And the really cool thing about this is that one of the authors, the co-author of this book, is a journalist, I believe, if memory serves correctly, when I was reading his bio. And he interviewed everyone, including, everyone who was still living, including D.C. Fontana, and managed to get his hot little hands on a whole bunch of stuff that was previously not released to the public. So because of that, as many of you know, I'm a communications and technology scholar. So it's very important that rather than turning to user generated data and user generated lore, that we choose to showcase information here that we know is true. So for that reason, I've chosen this book. So far, we're 60 pages in. It seems really great. I'm really liking it so far, and I think so is the community, the 735 community here. I will say this, though. After 60 pages, it does have some dubious grammar. The grammar in it isn't so hot, but the rest of it, it's working out pretty well. It's got a lot of really great information, and it's our guide. And of course, once we're done covering the summary and revealing some of those behind the scenes things and never told things before, and things never revealed before, Clobby and I discuss it. And so does the chat. So I hope you're here and to have a good time and join us. And we're going to go through it together. I'm a little bit off my game because I had a super horrible bad migraine today. So I'm a bit of a marble mouth and a bit scatterbrained, but I'm going to do my best.
Well, excellent. And then you will do wonderfully, of course. Now, let's see here, everyone. We're ready to start with our first episode, if you are, number one.
Yes. So our first episode is The Survivor, Season 1, Episode 6, air date October 13th, 1973. We're on page 60, folks. And I know quite a few of you have purchased this book or have it on order. If it's in front of you right now, we are on page 60, 60. Without further ado, let's get to it. The Enterprise beams renowned legend Carter Winston on board, who has been missing for 5 years. Winston finds a big fan in McCoy, as he once used his wealth to save the planet Cerebus, where the doctor's daughter was attending school during a crop crisis. McCoy's awe for Winston leads him to dismiss unusual readings at the philanthropist's exam. Winston learns his fiancée, Anne Norrid, is serving on board the Enterprise. The two meet, and he delivers devastating news to her, explaining that he has changed over the 5 years and no longer wishes to marry her. After breaking Anne's heart, Winston goes to Kirk's quarters, morphs into a non-humanoid alien, a duplicitous Vendorian, and uses his tentacles to render the captain unconscious before assuming Kirk's identity. Winston goes to the bridge, impersonating the captain, and orders the Enterprise into the neutral zone, much to the shock of the crew. Kirk recovers, goes to the bridge, and immediately orders a course correction. Since he has no memory of ordering the ship into the neutral zone, he and Spock go to sickbay. They arrive just as Anne is leaving, having sought McCoy's advice about being distraught, unaware that Winston had replaced the doctor. Winston, as McCoy blows off Kirk's request for a medical exam. Outside sickbay afterwards, Spock is perplexed at the unemotional response to his suggestion that the doctor had made an error during Winston's exam. He and Kirk return to find the real McCoy. The real McCoy. Did that person just put that here? The real McCoy recovering on the floor. Realizing Winston must still be there, Kirk threatens to pour acid over an extra bio bed unless Winston reveals himself, which he does, before escaping. Anne is the first to find Winston, but can't bring herself to shoot him, and he escapes the just-arrived Kirk a second time. In accordance with the treaty with the Romulans, Kirk is ordered to surrender the Enterprise immediately. Despite explaining their intrusion was a mistake, Kirk realizes all of this has been a Romulan trap, using the Vendorian to bring the Enterprise into the neutral zone. Scotty discovers a crewman disabling the Enterprise's shields, Winston, who then renders the chief engineer unconscious. Winston is once again caught by Anne, and this time reveals his true form, and that he was the one who helped her fiancé 5 years earlier. Because Winston's memories have been a part of the Vendorians for so long, Winston's strong feelings for Anne remain. The alien does a double cross, morphing into one of the disabled shields, which enables the Enterprise to go on the offensive. One Romulan ship is disabled, and the second retreats. Winston apologizes for his actions, but still must stand trial, and Kirk orders Anne to guard him for the remainder of his journey. And that's about all of the coverage. So there are some fascinating facts, but I'm going to turn it over to you. What did you think of this coverage?
Good. I'm still mad at myself. I haven't got a chance to read the book yet, but I have. Well, that's what I got you for, right? You're reading it to me right now. But no, it is good coverage, and I there's some things in the episode here and there that are kind of so. But I actually, again, I think it's a fairly interesting story. Janet from another planet,
hey,
welcome.
Janet.
Good to see you.
Janet, she's a galaxy girl.
It's great to see you, Janet. It's a pretty interesting story, though. I'll give it that. It's and someone did mention, I think it was Ted Knight doing the voice of Winston.
Yeah.
Ted Knight. Ted Baxter, basically.
Yeah.
From Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, some of the coincidental stuff, like him being his fiance happening to be on the Enterprise, that kind of stuff gets a little old sometimes. But I actually like.
It's very man trap, isn't it?
Yeah, there's that, a little bit convenient, But I mean, what are you going to do? That's just kind of that happen. That happens in a lot of different stuff. What are you supposed to do here? But actually, it is. It's very Trek in a lot of ways, though. Still, I think that it's a fairly entertaining episode for the most part. And again, I always like it when the alien doesn't turn out to be exactly like. Once in a while, an episode where the alien's evil and stuff like that is fine, but again, it turns out to be an alien that has something of a redemption later when it's taken up. Say again?
Which is sides.
Oh, okay. Which what now? Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, just like the nature of the alien's evil switches. It shifts gears.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. I just didn't hear you. Yes, it does, and because it takes on a lot of the memories and the persona of Carter Winston, which I thought was actually what little we get to know about Carter Winston's actually a fairly interesting character. So overall, I just think it's a fairly entertaining episode. Not nothing really terrible or bad in it. Nothing really well outstanding either. But for this series, fairly solid one, I thought.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and even with Anne being his his fiance, coincidence, but that's a lot of stuff like that. So it's not a big deal. And there was some clever stuff in it. And again, I like that the alien decided to try to redeem himself at the end there.
Mm-hmm.
So the Vendurian,
yeah,
Vendurian,
for sure.
Yep. So you have some notes.
I do. So on page 62, there are some notes, and I only have a couple of notes that are personal,
cool.
But Barrett once again voiced the Enterprise computer. The episode marked the first appearance of Romulans on TAS. Named in the script but not identified on screen, Engineer Gabler makes his first TAS appearance. He had been mentioned in a previous episode. The episode was similar in plot to The Man Trap. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well,
good.
there you go.
I thought
you called it.
And would have elements of Winston adopted into the character when she was replaced with the V'ger probe in Star Trek The Motion Picture. Shermer would go on to team with another TAS writer, Stephen Kandel, to pen an episode of MacGyver, which guest starred Deep Space Nine's Nana Visitor. The Vendorians are much like the shapeshifters on DS9, as they can change shape into both animate and inanimate objects and behave duplicitously. Norad's insignia appeared on the wrong side of her uniform when confronting Winston. So yeah, and just my comments were, this feels exactly like live action Star Trek. This feels to me like a marriage between The Man Trap, and of course we know that this was the seminal moment for Odo and for Deep Space Nine for this whole idea. And I put in my notes, this would have been an A+ for me if we would have done it in live action and we would have had more than 22 minutes. So.
Yes, this time factor may hurt this one a little bit, but that's the kind of constraints they were under on that show cartoon. Yep. So what are you going to do? Apollo meets Minion. Hello there, dear. Good to see you.
And Pupper.
Of course, lovely to see you, my dear. Thank you for popping in. So yeah, I mean, overall, this is pure Trek, and it doesn't, it's not like it has anything bad in it or not. I like it. I'm just saying I think it probably needed a little time. Sometimes some of these stories you'll find on this show. If they suffered at all, and I don't mean that in a bad way, it's probably because they probably a little more time to breathe as a story that they did not. Luxury they did not have. Some other times it worked fine. This would be one of those you probably needed a little bit more, but it was good though.
I totally agree. And there are some where you can totally see the potential of the episode. Yes. And it's a real shame. So for this one, yeah, it's a shame.
So on the Survivor number one, let's say I will get this is the way we do it, folks. Of course, I will get number one's rating on the Survivor. I'll give mine, and then I will ask our great chat to give theirs. So number
Please
one,
hold your ratings until Clobby says go. He'll give you the green light, folks.
And thank you. And so number one, what is your rating for the Survivor?
Well, Clobby, you and I, we've talked a lot about this on air and off air. I feel that people have been quite vicious with this iteration of Star Trek, and it's been quite recent. I think it's quite unfair. So I am going to give a rating that is just about this particular iteration of Star Trek in socio-historical context. So I'm not comparing it to the greatest animation of our time now. I'm not comparing it to live action Star Trek. I'm not doing any of that. What I am doing is I'm going to judge it for what it is from the time in which it occurred. And that said, Captain, I'm going to give this an A- because of my affinity for and affection for the idea that this could have been an outstanding live action Star Trek, and the fact that it was seminal to this whole idea of changelings, and that we get a meatier, sort of scarier version of The Man Trap.
Absolutely understandable. We're not far off. I'm going with a B plus for pretty much the same reason. It was ambitious. This is something I'm going to be a broken record on about the animated series, folks, and it's sort of along the lines of what number one's talking about. It cannot be stressed enough how ambitious these stories are for 1973 on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And you really, that doesn't mean every episode is perfect or every episode meets that criteria, not necessarily, but this is one of those, and many of them are, because it's just not, it wasn't done back then. It just, so I give it, I believe I give it a B plus. I think it's admirable, and it's a good one. It's a solid one. So
it is.
That is The Survivor.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready for our next episode? Only if you are.
Well, let's give the green light.
Oh, I'm so
chat and let
sorry.
them rock their ratings. You guys,
yes, give me your ratings, everyone.
Yeah, what did you think of The Survivor?
I almost forgot.
It's okay. Don't worry about it, Captain. That's why I'm here. I'm sidekick commander extraordinaire. So I love you, and don't worry about it. You were very deep in thought, considering what was happening with this IP, and it's quite unfortunate. As those ratings come rolling in, I would just like to reiterate that same point. It's not just socio-historical context. It's also the fact that we saw the nucleus, the core writers come back and decide to start making this wonderful Star Trek again. Only now they only have 22 minutes to do it. And Clubby, I think that it's 22 minutes including credits, isn't it, sir?
Pretty much the whole running time is 24 something. So you have to ballpark it at 22 plus minutes.
Yeah, so really hard to hit the ground running, and they're still finding their footing in trying to render these wonderful, imaginative, scientific stories in such a short period of time.
Yes, absolutely. And remember, they had a lot more constraints than a network nighttime TV show did. Obviously, things it couldn't do. Anyway, so D. Bud Martin says B plus. I have a soft spot for Romulan episodes. The duplicate angle has been used before, but at least this had unique elements to it, which made it work for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
And they call him Scuba Pete. We'll say B plus. 3 out of 5 Winston sideburns. There you go.
That's supposed to make me laugh when I have a migraine. I love you, Scuba Pete. What a great comment. Those burns, those sideburns, eh?
Oops. Oh, missed one. B for Snorter Cuber. Carter Winston has amassed several personal fortunes, so much for not accumulating wealth in the Federation. Yeah, well, this was written at a time when that had not been said. How come only Kirk noticed the second table in sickbay at first? That I don't know, but yeah, that was at a time, even when they talked about Flynn earlier and some other ones, that was when a time when they weren't saying stuff like, we don't use money and all that. So, what are you going to do? Yeah, and I'm fine with it, but I hear you there, Snort.
Snort a poopus. He's a details guy. He's a details bear. Sorry,
a details bear. That's right. Phantom Outsider B plus. Judging on its merits, introduced a new species. Also, wealth can be used for good. Yeah, I mean, that's why I really liked Carter Winston. Winston. Can be used for good. The aliens plot backfire due to his own abilities, and he has a great future as a Section 31 operative, and as a deflector shield, by the way, as well. Apparently, definitely can make a good deflector shield as well.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Raymond Feliciano says, "A great storyline. Again, a different version of the Man Trap. Love the Romulans." Yeah, absolutely. You nailed it before you even saw it in the book. I agree that the lack of time hurt it. Finally, this series should have been canon. I will keep repeating. So will I, buddy. So will I. Sandra Feliciano, B plus. Pretty good episode. Recurrent themes were present, but not repeated exactly. It was a good story, not just checking boxes. For the time, the animation was pretty good. And yes, and even though the animation, I always kind of separate that from the art. The animation sometimes, which again, by definition, was always referred to as limited animation, but the artwork was always, in terms of just the
Spot on.
was first rate. I've always liked it.
Oh, so. Yes, especially when you're looking at visage, when you're looking at countenance. There are times when you look directly into those characters' faces and you see the actors and the original gangsta characters.
Yep, absolutely. Eric K, A-. I like this one. I think that I think they're starting to get the legs under it. Yeah. Nice concept. The alien is slowly turning. The more he has changed.
Yeah. Yes. What an excellent comment. Wonderful, wonderful comment. Nicely said. Thank you, Eric.
Janet from Another Planet didn't give a rating, but said still found the episodes very entertaining. Okay, I don't know what she but I don't know if she meant that one or not. Sorry, Janet. Let's see, here we go. Dead Man Walking 55. I enjoy. It was an A-. Maybe it's an A-. Again, I'm always fuzzy when it's next to a. If that's meant to separate, I'm gonna say A-. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It always throws me off. Sorry. I enjoyed it, especially with ship-to-ship fighting. 2 observations. Very mature writing for Saturday morning. Saturday a.m. And when is someone going to get the idea to replace all of the females' short skirts with pants? I hope never. I hope never. I vote never, Deadman.
I vote with my captain wholeheartedly. That's a no for me.
And so yeah, I'm gonna be like Bashir when in trouble in the Trials and Tribulations when he saw the skirt that Dax was wearing. As I think I'm going to like history. So call me toxic. JT Kirk. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you, and good to see you.
Yes, JT Kirk. So nice to see you, my friend.
Let's see here.
I think Canadian Spider-Man just walked through the door.
Oh, really? I'm not down that far yet, so I can see it. Thank you, Canadian Spider-Man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's see here. Mrs. Deadman Walking 55 C+. Interesting topic for Saturday morning. Good story concept, but the security guard annoyed me. She didn't do her job even after she wasn't. Oh, I mean, there were no after we broke it off with her. I guess she means would have given her a higher rating if not for that. Yeah, she should have. She should have fired anyway. That's fair. She should have done her dang job.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
She hesitates like McCoy in The Man Trap.
Yes, she does. She lets her heart dictate that for her. Mark D with us, A-. 4 out of 5 Spock duplicates. A better episode than The Man Trap. The Winston alien is given a chance to redeem himself and not hunted down.
That's right.
Right. Yes. Some really smart turns in the story with Carter as a hero. That's what I liked about it. Yeah. As well.
Yeah. Me too. Would have been great as live action. But imagine trying to render that at the time. It would have been impossible. I totally agree with Mark's comments.
Indeed. Absolutely. JT Kirk, B+. A fairly good story, but my socks just weren't knocked off. All right. There you go. Fair enough, because, no one wants them knocked off with, unless it's really called for. So let's see here. I think we may have our ratings all in order there. Number 1, let me see. Okay, I guess we have our we could be up to speed with our ratings as far as I know, everyone. I think we got it. Steve has a
couple of comments that I'd like to get to, Clobby, before we move on.
Steve?
Canadian Spider-Man.
Okay.
Hi, sweetheart. I've been missing you around here. It is so good to see you. Yes, Star Trek was way sexier than Star Wars. And previous, you were saying, where the heck can I watch the animated series in Canada? It's just what we go through here to try and watch American stuff is just ridiculous. You should be able to find it on Netflix. If you have a Netflix account, you should be able to get it there. I don't know if it's on Amazon Prime in Canada, but Canadian Spider-Man, it is on Netflix. That's where I'm watching it currently because I don't want to open my collector's edition.
Yes, it is on there. So there you go. And So, when if you have it there, then he would too. Then so there.
Yeah. And
There you
everyone
go.
on here knows that I do everything legally. So it's definitely on Netflix and you can legally get a hold of it there. And love you, love you. And I'm so happy that you're here, Canadian Spider-Man.
Indeed,
You do
indeed.
miss around here.
Well, yep, absolutely good to see you there. All right, let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. Well, are we ready to move on to the next episode?
Yeah. So season 1, episode 7, boss. The air date is October 20th, 1973, and it is The Infinite Vulcan. If you're following along, we're on page 64. The Enterprise landing party discovers a planet full of moving plants, including one that pricks Sulu, and flying plants in the shape of birds, which besiege the landing party. Sulu is saved by Agmar, a sentient plant, who explains a visiting human caused a plague years ago that wiped out his people. Kirk and company learn to never trust a talking plant when the Felosians befriend the landing party, only to betray them by kidnapping Spock at the orders of a 50-foot-tall giant. Uhura uncovers the giant's real identity to be that of the long-dead Stavros Caniculus, an exiled Earth scientist who attempted to create a perfect master race during the eugenics wars, because that always worked out so well. Kirk determines that the 50-foot Caniculus must be a clone of the original Stavros. The fifth, to be exact, with their weapons useless on the planet. Kirk returns with a trick up his sleeve to rescue Spock. Agmar leads the landing party into a trap because evil, but the landing party manages to escape, only to discover a dying Spock. Caniculus explains Spock will be okay, and even better, because he is now a 50-foot giant clone called Spock 2. Attacked by flying plants once again, Kirk unveils his trick, McCoy's great-granddaddy's weed killer, to disable the attackers. Uhura continues to research Caniculus and notifies the landing party that his goal of creating a master race was to force peace on the universe, an objective the Felosians share. Kirk argues peace has been achieved and implores Spock to consider Spock 2 to consider the logic of IDIC and this plan. Spock 2 agrees with Kirk and mind melts with the original dying body to restore the real Spock. Spock 2 decides to remain with Caniculus 5 on Philos, sorry, that's very different from English to Greek, to try and save the Felosians, or the Philosians, as you guys say. And that's all the coverage for this one. What'd you think?
Interesting, and I actually like this episode. You could a funny Jobber, what's up? Just Joe 47,
Yay!
the great Jobber's here. Good to see you, buddy. A friend of mine, two friends of mine, in fact, used to have a running argument and joke about this episode. Of course, as we all know, written by Walter Koenig. So he did get a little involvement with the animated series, of course. And that is basically they were arguing of the merits of the episode many back in the 80s or something. And my friend and we were both kind of saying we kind of liked it. One friend says he hated it on the basis that they left a giant Spock does not deserve to exist. No, he's kidding. So we've teased him about that ever since. By the way, a giant Spock. What's wrong with that? So yes, there's kind of a slight Saturday morning goofiness to it, as also there is to the plant spray thing. A little bit on the silly side, yeah. But you know what? There's a lot of really good in there too. I think the plants not simply being just some evil, horrible monsters. I always love it in Trek when they have some really, really alien ideas of like some aliens that are completely nowhere close to humanoid, and yet they find a way to communicate with them, and they're not horrible or evil or anything like that. You could kind of knock the story a little bit about what was he, Caniglius or whatever he was, being his kind of daft idea of creating a super race to enforce peace, kind of a Green Lantern Corps type thing, as we kind of called it.
Don't worry
you know,
about
but
getting his name right either, because it's half
yeah.
Greek, half Roman.
Oh, gotcha.
So you're trying to figure out whether or not you're supposed to be speaking Latin or Greek. It's one of those things that always happens on Star Trek that we always talk about. So don't worry about his name.
Yeah, I got you. So overall, though, I find it to be intriguing, and again, pretty bold stuff. I mean, having a giant Spock, and I like how the whatever this thing was that enlarged him, made his uniform grow with him. That's great. This is important. And thank God he didn't dress like what's his face, Strab or whatever the hell. That's also good. Plus, no, but yeah, I'm not going to deny and say there isn't kind of a goofiness to it, but there's also sort of a boldness to it. That they said, look, we're going to have a giant Spock, damn it, and we have these crazy plants that can talk, but it's still, pretty interesting idea for the story. So I kind of enjoyed it. I don't know what it is. I just thought it was kind of a fun episode.
Okay. Well, I accept that. Would you like to hear what it says about
Yes.
the trivia around this?
Sure.
Nichols once again voiced the Enterprise computer instead of Majel Barrett or Majel Barrett. Fontana lists the episode as one she is most fond of from TAS. Koenig's next television writing gig would come courtesy of fellow Star Trek writer David Gerrold, who hired him to pen an episode for Land of the Lost the following year.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
The Retlaw in Retlaw Plant is Koenig's first name spelled backwards. The Felosians would make another appearance in the TAS episode The Time Trap. The episode is a tie-in to TOS's Space Seed. This is the first Star Trek episode to confirm the United Federation of Planets was established in the 22nd century. And the blooper, Spock is shown at his station on the Enterprise, even though he was prisoner of the Felosians on the planet.
There were a couple of animation mistakes in this one.
There were.
I noticed. Yeah. Captain Cockney Spock, good to see you. Thank you for popping in, sir.
Very nice to see you, fine sir.
Hey. Hello. So, yes. Yeah, again, it's not a perfect episode or anything like that. But, I think it deserves some kudos for having some pretty out there, but bold ideas. And I don't know, I kind of liked it a little bit.
Well, I love that you liked it.
Yeah, again, I don't have anything bad, necessarily bad. Like I say, I kind of laugh at the giant Spock thing because this is going on 40 years now, and we still say it to him every time the episode comes up. We say the giant Spock does not deserve to live. Because now there's a giant Spock living on a planet. It just aggravated him somehow. I don't know why. Everyone's different. So, again, I like it. Okay. Do you have note? That was basically your notes there? Or?
Well, I had some personal notes. I just said the Infinite Vulcan, Walter Koenig, wrote this, which was included in the book. Gene is on record as saying that he absolutely hated this episode. He says it's one of his most hated episodes. I believe it's his number one most hated TAS episode. It tells the story of what happened in Hawaii. Yeah, very much so. If you go to Hawaii and you take any of their jungle tours, or you buy their jungle CDs and you do the Road to Hana, you certainly discover that this is basically kind of like what happened with all of the plants and birds there. So I can't recall what it is. I think it's like 90% of all of the birds were decimated in Hawaii because of, us breathing there and bringing foreign pathogens. So I thought that was quite interesting to add for this coverage. This is Spock's Brain Part 2 for me. And I noticed that Mark D with a C said the same thing.
Spock's Brain Part 2.
Yeah, it's Spock's Brain Part 2. Just the whole Vulcan mind meld and stuff. This is weird because there are only about 3 episodes so far in all of Star Trek that you and I have different ratings on. And so this is going to be I think number 3 or number 4. For me, this is a C-. I think the story tries to accomplish too much in too little time.
Yes.
And poor Gene, There's so much. The thing is that Walter uses this type of writing where he tells instead of shows. So you see a lot of the dialogue trying to catch up for the things they could not show by explaining,
Yeah.
So yeah, for me, I hate to say it because I rarely disagree with you because we're very like-minded, but this is a C- for me, Captain. I'm sorry.
We actually don't disagree that much. I'm giving it a C. I'm not that far off from you. I just think,
okay, good.
I guess I'm just judging it by standards why it doesn't, because there's going to be an episode, I'm not going to spoil anything, that I'm going to really wail on and tear to living shreds. And this is just not one of those. It's just like, I thought there was some okay ideas. I think it's also, as you notice, I'm laughing at the episode with the giant Spock crap.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. I guess it just kind of, I don't know, maybe, and this could be a weird thing. It could be because of that fond memory of being able to make fun of the giant Spock crap with that friend of mine. Maybe that's why I don't mind it. I don't know. But it just never really, I can see Gene not liking it, I guess. But he let it happen.
Stavros, right? I always want to say Stavros, but Stavros, just that character is just, I don't know. I don't think he was needed. I think it would have been better if they just would have made all of the plants. Yeah, I don't know. Walter tried. I love you, Walter. Walter Koenig, you're a very sweet man. I love you, honey.
But our rating is not that far off. I guess I just don't have any like real bad feelings, or I just kind of laugh at. Maybe it made me laugh because I made fun of Spock's brain a lot, but it doesn't aggravate me like The Way to Eden or Alternative Factor.
This one isn't aggravating, is it? But
it's just
I guess I would like to use Gene Roddenberry's word. This episode, the writing on this episode, quote, leaves a lot to be desired.
Let's be honest, it's silly.
It's
pretty silly.
Totally silly.
However, it is Saturday morning. What is Spock's brain's excuse? So anyway,
yeah.
But by the way,
derived creatures that would be sentient. That's an incredibly cool idea, but they just should have left Stavros out of it. We did not need Stavros. We didn't need giant Spock, especially with them all standing at his feet, and then he takes his finger and puts it on Spock one head and mind melts. Although it's not a Katra, but we don't understand why he was dying because his brain went into Spock too. But somehow it's restored. But it's not Katra. It's only a mind melt. Walter, do your homework. But I love you. I love you.
He's not a writer, so he's proven that. Well, his Land of the Lost episode is almost as dumb, to be honest. It's been a while, but anyway. But about El DeGusto and Zach7. Thank you for both popping in. Nice to see you. So so we're not that far off. I guess I'm not going to spoil it, unless you guys know, but there's going to be an episode that I'm going to be back to in case you think I'm getting soft, everyone. Just wait. But
you should be soft. I actually really love that you're soft. I love all of your opinions on this because this is essentially like a comic book, and this is from 1973. So
sure.
It was never panned by the critics before. This thing won an Emmy. And so now all these younger people that are coming in that like the filth, the modern filth, are coming in and they're writing the most horrendous user-generated crap on there. It's all brand new, and it's so harsh as to defy the Emmy. And it's just... I like that you're able to put this in socio-historical context, to put it in cultural context, and to render credit where credit is due. So I love you, Clobby, and I don't want to be too harsh on this either, because I think there's a wealth of that going on online, and I don't think it's sincere.
Well, there's going to be some harshness soon being seen. Spoiler, little tease there, folks. Don't worry, harshness is a coming. Anyway, okay. Well, chat, I'm going to ask you now again. Number one was a C- on the Infinite Vulcan. I'm a C. What is your rating, my friends, of the Infinite Vulcan? Go. And while we're waiting on that, let's see here. Yeah, Walter Koenig worked on Land of the Lost with David Gerald. He also, actually his best character he ever played as a recurring character was Bester on Babylon 5. We'll see that one of these days. Okay, I think that we're at the beginning of the analysis here. JT Kirk, C-. Sentience in plants would likely never evolve into a humanoid form. Also, who wins? Spock 2 versus 2 Vix. I'll take Spock 2. But
would you? I actually would. I would
like
prefer
2 Vix?
Spock 2. I would definitely take Spock 2. 2 Vix. That's a solid no for me. Wait until we get to the 2 Vix situation,
Oh,
JT
boy.
Kirk. I'm just.
That's gonna be a rough one.
It's gonna be rough.
Sandra Feliciano, C. It didn't move me one way or the other. It was okay, just nothing stands out as especially good. Fair enough. Scuba Pete says, C. For 15 minutes, I was thinking some ortho weed control would fix this, and then McCoy breaks it down. Yeah, the weed, the weed thing, or the well,
McCoy had to be an expert because it's all about the mint julep, and so his daddy had a way of protecting the mint. Otherwise, there would be no mint juleps. I mean, this is an obvious tie-in, right?
Indeed.
I love it when you do your incredulous laugh, Clobby. It's the best.
I would love Lord Thought. I'm gonna have to ask Lord Thought later because I know he's gonna give this one out. He's gonna be way more brutal than we are. D-Bud Martin, C+. Interesting concepts, but I saw the ending from a mile away. I hears you. Snortapoopa says 1 of 2 here. C. Here we are at the periphery of the galaxy again. They spend a lot of time there, don't they? I knew I didn't like Brussels sprouts for a reason, but the surprise about encountering sentient plants seems a little odd. 2. The name of the plant Phylos. What do you have to put that word in there?
Philodendros.
Philodendros. He says philo. Is that philodendros?
Philodendros.
Philodendros. I'm going to destroy you, you bear. Just kidding. Loving trees. There is a passing mention of the Kazenti. And yeah, they did mention the Kazenti, which is weird because they were later. And a reference to the Eugenic Wars because, yes, the Kazenti don't pop up until the slaver weapon, if I remember right.
I love Snortapoopus.
Don't we all? Except for when he puts weird words on it. Kidding.
I love you.
You're a good bear. Okay, C+. I just wish we could have these a full hour to really fully tell the story. I wonder if after Vulcan was destroyed by the mini black hole, did they repopulate the whole Vulcanian race? It wasn't destroyed by a mini black hole. That's filth. That's red matter.
Isn't it wonderful that Eric K says Vulcanian? He is so very season 1, and it makes me so happy. It actually warms my heart. I love you, Eric K.
I never thunk about it. There you go. But in fact, first time I think I've heard I haven't heard Vulcanian in a while, except for like a couple of times in the series.
I only say Vulcanian, so I love that Eric says it because it's the proper. It is the proper word.
Works for me. Let's see here. Fathom Outsider, C+. Remember, we're lucky Dr. Caniculus wasn't in league with Khan. 50-foot Khan. Whoa, you're right. That's a good point there, Fathom Outsider. Giant Spock equals giant brain. To restart Tiny Spock. Now we know where Nurse Chapel spent her shore leave. 1 of 2. Oh, boy. I hate when they're separated like that. Because it'll take me a second to get to that one, sir. Dead Man Walking 55 C-, I think. Initially was good. Excuse me. Initially was going to be a C, but hearing that Roddenberry hated it, I went lower since I'm in good company. Just was blah. Great cloning though. To clone clothes in that size though. Yeah. I like it when they. Never seen.
Like do you remember that Lily Tomlin movie where she was like the 50-foot woman?
Yeah, it was. You mean when she was the Incredible Shrinking Woman, which was a terrible remake of a great science fiction classic film called The Incredible Shrinking Man, which I love.
Wasn't she huge also? Was it Lily Tomlin who was like the 100-foot woman or whatever? I don't know. I don't
No,
remember.
there was an old B movie song called The Attack of the 50-Foot Woman earlier, but I don't know if they ever did it. No, but Lily Tomlin was in The Incredible Shrinking Woman, which was a
I
silly
watched
remake.
that one. I watched all that stuff when I was young.
The Incredible Shrinking Man, however, is one of the greatest science fiction movies ever made. It's from the late 50s. I love that film.
Yeah. I think I remember that one. I used to go to a 10-cent movie at our school. Our school used to run movies.
Oh, cool.
And you could pay 10 cents and go into the gym and watch the old movies. So
I really love that movie. Apollo's Minion says I've never seen any of these cars. Oh, I got you. No, there you go. No problem. Not everyone has. So you're not alone.
And don't worry, you can stick around because like usual, Polymies Minion, you know that I'm doing those summaries. So it doesn't matter if you watch the episode, if it's fresh in your mind or you've never seen it, I will have it. I will have all the information you need.
Indeed. Mrs. Dadman's walking Dadman walking 55. D plus the serious idea of what sanctity. Did I get that word right or is it misspelled? Sanctity? I guess
sanctity.
Supposed to be sanctity. Mm-hmm. Okay, I need to put my screen back on. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. I'm moving my microphone now. I have a better setup than I used to. All right. But I'm having to move my screen. All right, there we go. Sanctity of life and forced peace is not real peace alongside the silly stuff of talking plants, giant Spock, and weed spray do not meld well. A total waste of time for me, and I want to beat Walter Koenig. Oh, no, you didn't write that. That was me. Just kidding. Walter, just kidding. It's not your fault, buddy. Well, it is your fault, but part 2. Eric said, I would love a big Raquel Briggs. Well, there is actually a planet where there's a giant version of her. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. Continuing Fandom Outsiders earlier. Sentient plants wanting to enforce universal peace. Poison Ivy. Friends. Was that friends of yours? Oh, there you go. Meaning, I guess, Poison Ivy from the Batman.
Yeah.
Friends of yours. In the future, the dead plants were dried and smoked, and peace reigned over the galaxy for centuries untold. Well, good.
This is a weed planet, basically, is what Fandom Outsiders say.
Yes, planet of the weed. All right. Mark D with a C. C-, 2 out of 5 weed whackers. Cloning and Stavros is too far out of left field. Great idea, but with an intelligent species of plants, decimation of spices due to disease from outsiders is a high concept. That is one of 2. I wonder how far down the 2 is. Let's see. Oh, wow. The 2 is like, oh, there it is. Good.
It's okay.
Bop, bop, bop. Unfortunately, Spock's brain thread derails the episode. Yeah. And could someone get Stavros a shirt? Probably pants too.
Yeah, I don't get it, but I do like that you thought the exact same thing I did. Mark D with the C. I love you.
Yes, it's true though that Daryl Hannah was in the 50-Foot Woman remake. Mrs. Dadman, I remember that one now. Yeah,
Dadman, I love you. Thank you. I was trying to remember who actually
remember
did that
now,
one.
Yeah.
Love you. Thank you. Awesome. I love our chat.
They're the best. Chris Persia is a C+. Although is a reboot of Spock's Mind. Although is a reboot of Spock's Mind, it was more palatable, and it did introduce us to the concept, maybe it means Spock's Brain, concept of a sentient plant species, which might have been the inspiration for Zahn in Farscape.
Oh, Chris, I was thinking something along those lines while I was watching it, and I've never thought that before because, of course, I haven't watched Farscape before. But having just finished Farscape, I was thinking the exact same thing. You need to get out of my head, Chris Persia. Awesome. Great comment. I love you so much. And yes, Zahn in Farscape.
I love her. Yeah, I love her. That would be Virginia Hay, right?
It's such a cool idea to have a sentient plant species.
Right.
I think it's a really great idea. And when Zahn goes through that period where she like basically molts, it's just so much fun. Anyways, I never thought I would ever like Farscape, but I actually do like it.
Yeah, it's a good show. Good show. Well, I guess I do believe we have all of our ducks in a row and our reviews as well, and our ratings as well. So let us push on, shall we, to our next episode. What do you think?
Yes. Well, we're on page 70 if you're following along, and let's just be copyright compliant here in Star Trek, the official guide to the animated series by Harvey and Skepis. We're on page 70. Season 1, Episode 8, air date October 23rd, 1973. Let's do it. The Magics of Megas 2. The Enterprise is pulled into a matter-energy whirlwind at the creation point of the universe. Oh boy, Snortopoopas isn't going to be happy. Where natural laws do not apply, causing the ship's systems to fail. A hooved being called Lucian appears and restores the Enterprise's life support before taking Kirk, Spock, and McCoy to his planet, Megas 2. The trio is unable to comprehend their setting as their bodies begin to lose cohesion. So Lucian transforms into an Earth-like environment. He explains magic is the natural order of the Megas 2, and that his people once visited Earth but were forced to leave. He then returns them to the Enterprise to keep them from being found. Spock theorizes, since this universe's natural laws allow magic, the crew should be able to perform magic as well, and is then successful in attempting to do so. The Megans discover the Enterprise due to the crew's use of magic and imprisons them in stockades in what looks like Salem, Massachusetts in 1691. Their judge, Asmodeus, places the crew on trial and explains how 17th century humanity attempted to use the Megans' abilities only to accuse them of being devils when they were rebuffed, hence those stockades. Spock offers to argue on humanity's behalf and calls Lucian as his first witness, who attests to humanity's diversity. Kirk is next and challenges the Megans to view the Enterprise's records to witness humanity's evolution. Asmodeus acknowledges their presence was an accident and agrees to free the crew, but has sentenced Lucian to exile for attempting to hide them. Kirk objects, saying that isolating Lucian is the same as putting him to death. He engages in a magic battle with Asmodeus, and the Megans admit Lucian's sentence was a test to ensure humanity had learned compassion. And that is all the text has to say about the summary of this episode. What'd you think of the coverage, boss?
It's good, but I've been looking for something. Raymond asked if I read his rating before, and I can't find it. I don't remember finding it. I'm looking back. I'm backtracking to try to find it, Raymond.
Let me go and see if I can see it.
And
there are some people who are missing for me, typically, again, as well this week. It happens sometimes with this side of StreamYards.
The first one I saw was Sandra's, and I can't, Raymond,
we got his last one, and his last one was terrific. He gave a perfect. Yeah, so this is the order. I have JT Kirk, Sandra, Scuba, D. Bud Martin, Eric, Snortopoopas 2, Phantom Outsider, Dadman, Mrs. Dadman, Eric Part 2, and Phantom Outsider Part 2.
The first one I saw was Sandra on that last episode. If
yeah,
I remember
me too.
Right.
Raymond's not on here. Mark D with the C, Scuba Pete, Canadian Spider-Man, Mrs. Dadman again, Canadian Spider. No, it's not on this side.
I found
Chris
JT.
Persia?
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
boss, it's not
I found
here.
Scuba. Okay. I found Scuba. I think I missed Scuba originally too, so I'm sorry about that, Scuba.
Pete?
Yeah, see. For 15 minutes, I was thinking some ortho weight control could fix this. And then I did get that one. No, I did get that one. I'm just my memory's garbage. Raymond, I apologize, buddy. If you could throw that one back out there, I'll get you. Just throw it in with the next one.
Yes, please, Raymond.
Throw it in with. Just double up next time, brother, and we'll get you.
Because it's not on this side of StreamYards, my friend. I don't know why that happened, but I'm not seeing it either.
Right.
And I just threw the whole thing.
Okay.
Thank you, Raymond. Sorry about that, my friend.
It was right at the start of it. I couldn't see it, man. I just looked back past that one, and I've looked over like several times, bro. Throw it in with your next one if you would, brother, and we'll get you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, man. But on the chance that I missed it, I looked like 3 different times. I couldn't find it, so it could be a StreamYard kerfluffle. I'm so sorry about that, buddy. If you just throw that one, just double up on the next one there, buddy. All right. Well, okay, I'm gonna go weird on everybody again. This is a goofy one, but I like it. I'm sorry, and I'll tell you why I like it, because it's insane. It's subversive. It's out and out blasphemy beyond belief on a Saturday morning cartoon in 1973, and how it got on network television, I have no idea.
That's true. Pentagrams
and the devil.
The centaur, who is the devil, is a little odd. Like Lucifer, he's almost like a centaur-like.
This episode's funny in that sense. There's actually a lot of good. Let's see. This episode's actually kind of funny because it has a lot of good Trek stuff in it. These were just aliens that went. Now again, I think the biggest credibility stretch might be the fact that they were pretty powerful, right? Obviously, they were from a completely other type of existence. And when they went to Earth just to hang out and be nice to humans, when they started getting burned at the stake and all that stuff, they were pretty much powerful enough to do whatever the hell they wanted.
Yeah.
But they ended up just leaving. But I guess that shows they were kind of peaceful beings or whatever. Mm-hmm. And in this episode, they were just testing humans. I don't know. I found this episode kind of fun and with some interesting ideas. It may be pretty goofy, but I liked it. I thought it was a fairly entertaining episode. I kind of liked the character of Lucian. He was endearing in a sense that he's just some kind of fun-loving alien. And some of the stuff with Kirk using this, again, remember these powers and everything they're using. It's in another dimension where the laws of physics do not apply. I don't know. I thought this was kind of a goofy, fun episode. I like some of the ideas in it. I think some of the ideas are kind of really Star Trek, and they are very subversive. And I remember a few years ago, there was some conspiracy theorist type guy who does these videos. I'm not gonna say a name or anything because he does political stuff. That I watched him sometimes, and I agreed sometimes on some stuff and didn't agree with other. But he also does a lot of conspiracy stuff. He did a whole video about this one day. I'm just minding my own business, looking at YouTube 3-4 years ago, and then I see a YouTube about a Star Trek, and the guy wasn't even into geek stuff, and it was all about this episode, talking about how horrible it was that they allowed an episode where, they're teaching kids that the devil was not bad. He was just an alien and all this other kind of crap. Well, it kind of made me like the episode even more, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, it's not only that. Like, they're sort of, I'll get into that later, but it's not really the devil. It could be a centaur. It could be Pan. And of course, in Greek mythology, like, there is no devil. Like, it doesn't work that way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but this is coming from a religious person who's saying they're telling kids there's no devil. It was just an alien. And they're basically saying that the Bible's untrue and all that stuff. And that's where I'm talking. He's coming from, like, it's so subversive. Yeah. Right. And I don't know. I don't know if there was any blowback at the time. I don't know if they talked about it in the book.
I haven't read this chapter because, of course, I had a scorcher of a migraine today, so I haven't pre-read any of the stuff that I've read to you today. However, I do know this. That there was a lot of talk about the fact that there were religious aspects here that were supposed to go the other way. So I've read in multiple places that this episode was supposed to be Judeo-Christian spin, and the network turned around and said no. And then they came back and said, well, okay, we'll make it the devil then. And then the network said yes. So, but I would need to verify that for this episode specific. And I'm sorry that I didn't, but smoke and migraine. But,
no, I got you.
Yeah, but I do know that, Captain. I do know that, Clobby, that this story had to be tweaked. Otherwise, they wouldn't. The network wouldn't have allowed it, because I think basically what was going to happen is religion was going to be portrayed in an unfavorable light, and so we had to uphold the largely Judeo-Christian ideal that is expected in the United States, especially during that time where everyone was super religious still, and so on and so forth. So, yeah.
Okay. Eric. So Eric, you telling me that Canadian Spider-Man's the one that said Canadian Spider-Man has put RN's Raymond's review. Well, I was just going to get him to double it up, but I'll do it right quick. On the previous episode, RN said, a great storyline. Again, a different version of the Man Trap, but love the Romulans. I agree that the lack of time hurt it. That was for the Survivor, though.
Yep, that's for the Survivor.
I did read that one, didn't I?
But yeah, you did. But who was it who said he went back and looked as well? I think it was Dark Shadow Logan. I think Dark Shadow Logan went back and looked through all the comments, and he couldn't see it either. So he had suggested something very very good point, is that Google could have deleted it, and unfortunately their actions are arbitrary these days. So yeah, that's possible. But I just want you to know it's not showing up on this side. And it's not showing up for many of us, including Clobby, myself, and Dark Shadow Logan.
Right. The one you're sending me, Eric, is the one that for the episode before that. I'm talking about Infinite Vulcan is the one, because I did read that one from Raymond.
Yeah.
I think, if I remember right. I just I didn't get his Infinite Vulcan, but he can double that up with his next one.
And our marvelous wrench, Eric K, has not been able to find it either. So and Eric is, as you well know, is a big streaming wrench guy. He does like production for thousands and thousands of people in a chat. So Eric can't find it either. So just go ahead and repost that if you wouldn't mind, Raymond. I'm so sorry that it's disappeared. We don't know why, but we would love to share it. Just go ahead and repost it, please, if you can.
Well, there you go. So anyway, on Magics of Vegas 2, where were we? I got totally. Were we about to do your notes?
Yeah, let's.
Yeah, or you can tell what you think. Good.
Yeah, so on page 72, we have some verified stuff. It's not fan lore or user-generated content. It's the good stuff. So the episode was one of 3, the full cast recorded together. If you play advanced Star Trek trivia, you should know that. Again, I'll say it so that you can keep it in mind. The episode was one of 3, the full cast recorded together. So they didn't do it separately. They were all in a room together. Brody would go on to write the story for Star Trek Voyager episode Tattoo. Kirk's defense of humanity is similar to the one Picard uses with Q in Star Trek The Next Generation, Encounter at Farpoint. And the devil would not appear again until the TNG episode Devil's Due. And for the whoops, we have when Lucien first takes McCoy to his realm, McCoy notes that if he could give a medical update on himself, if he had his medical tricorder, which he is actually wearing. And that is true. I was going to mention that. McCoy is wearing the tricorder. And as far as my personal notes go, the magics of Mega 2. I said in my notes, the Salem witches were not burned, they were hanged. There's too much material in such a brief period of time. This is a discombobulated hodgepodge of Greek mythos and the story of the Puritans. And I gave it a pretty low rating.
No problem. I think there was a lot of good Trek in there. Like Mark says, you were prepared to die for Lucian, in a being who was alien to you. Yeah. Lucian and I was, some of that stuff that when Kirk and they fight for Lucian and stuff like that, I think there's some pretty good Star Trek heart to this mess of an episode. I guess I just like the subversiveness of it. And again, remember, this was subversive on a Saturday morning in 1973. I guess that's kind of why I kind of have sort of a strange admiration for it. It's a mess one. It's messy, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, but at the same time, what you're saying is so true. To be able to to do the kinds of things that were done on this episode. Not only the Puritans, but bringing in that Greek mythology, the fact that Lucien, we're not quite sure the nature of his devildom, and drawing out a pentagram and all that stuff. I mean, that is very provocative, very shocking, and very, very cool, and definitely different, and very, very daring for a Saturday cartoon. And Clobby, your comments are absolutely salient. They are absolutely excellent comments.
I thought it was ambitious for sure. Very flawed, but again, I guess it's just anytime they take a chance, even if they don't hit the spot, I'm going to give them a little credit again, and I'm doubling up on the credit because of what they had to work against, which was Saturday morning cartoon censors, network censors. Again, I do not understand how this episode got produced at all.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think it was that the whole negotiating where it was sort of they were going to be really hard on the Judeo-Christian ideals. They were perhaps going to be quite hard on the Puritans. The Puritans were going to have the part of Lucien, and of course the network swatted all that down. And once they reversed it, then it became okay for the network to pass. So I think that might have had something to do with it. It's sort of a negotiation for how to get this to air.
Yep. Strange stuff. So I will ask my wonderful number one here, her rating of the Magics of Megas 2, and I will give mine, and then of course I will ask our wonderful chat. So number one, what is your rating of the Magics of Megas 2?
It's a C. It's just a C.
That's not bad. Well, that's not bad at all, considering. I'm going C+ with it. I'm giving it a little bit of points there. I found it actually kind of entertaining. Again, I'm not holding this as well. Raquel said this a lot. Number one said this a lot. We're not holding it to the same exact standards you do an adult nightly TV show.
Nope.
But it's pretty damn daring for a what is ostensibly, which really is a Saturday morning. It's a kid slot in 73. I'm going to be a broken record about that all through my reviews of this series, because I think that is important, and that's a very Star Trek thing to do, to take chances. So anyway, okay, chat, what did you think of, or what is your rating of, and I'll try to watch it closer this time, the Magics of Megas 2, my friends. And Raymond, go ahead and double up on yours.
Yes, please.
So go for it. How you feeling? You holding up good?
Yes, I'm okay.
All right, let's see here. All right. Okay, I've got Raymond there. There we go. 1 of 2. Rating for the Infinite Vulcan, C-. It was okay for a 12-year-old at Saturday AM. Leave Braden home, but Star Trek, it was meh. Fair enough. D-Bud Martin really loves not the Magic of Megas 2. He gives it a D. Sorry, I do not like magic in my science fiction. Well, yeah, because they were explaining that it was kind of a universe where they were cheating using the laws don't apply. But I hear you. In other words, the laws of physics don't apply in this universe. A kind of a narrative cheat, perhaps. But yes, Trelane Q Lucian yuck. I felt this was the most juvenile episode. Okay.
It's funny that you said that, D-Bud Martin, because usually you and I make little comments, and I was actually was hoping that you would think the same thing I did, which was this is a little bit Plato's stepchildren. I didn't like the fact that they could start using magic, and I don't know. They just should have, if they would have cut out the whole Luke character, or Lucien, I think it would have made the episode a lot better.
The thing about that is on Plato's stepchildren, they just used science, or used medicine to give themselves those crazy powers. At least this was their excuse, like it or not, was another universe.
Yes.
Where they can't have it in their own physical universe. It was in that weird universe, or what have you, dimension, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Well, mega it just means big in Greek, right? So
there you go.
The magics of big.
1 of 2 for Stornopoopus Cuber. C-, the center of the galaxy. These folks certainly get around. More advanced aliens visit Earth and cause myths to spout leaking faucets. Well, yeah. And back to that old thing. 2 of 2. It seems to be the precursor to Star Trek 5. And there is more overcooked linguine, mage, magus, magos, mayos. Well, you'll love those words. Don't make me come down there, young man. You and your words.
Mayos. But
Mayos.
it's mega, yeah. Big.
Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong one there. No such. Sandra Feliciano. When these two parters make me skip stuff sometimes, or these two multiple parters kind of mess me up a little bit here. B minus. So Sandra Feliciano. We've seen a couple of other species who visited Earth and were found by the Enterprise crew. Why not have one from a more advanced time period, Salem witch trials instead of Greek or Roman eras? Yeah, why not? Why? Look,
love that.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with that. Two for
Pat just walked through the door. He's like, "I'm back. Can we start over?"
D, 1 out of 1. 1 out of 1 pans. C, number 1.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it, Raymond? How it's like it's a hodgepodge of like, yeah. Anyway, it's like,
basically, yes, yeah. He has the same basic review of those two, right there. I see. Okay, let's see here. Canadian Spider-Man. Oops. There we go. Eric K.
It's a Canadian Spider-Man. You should not make me laugh when I have a migraine. What a great comment. I love that.
You can say hell. C for Eric K. Not good, not bad. Everyone can do magic. In that universe, I'm not trying to be a stickler here. Just saying, in that universe, not like everywhere. And by the way, wasn't it interesting what Sulu conjured up?
Yes.
I can't argue with him though. Travel outsider B. It was high-minded, and again had the Kirk must prove that Federation values are worthy. Also, if the Klingons from Trouble with Tribbles could see Kirk now, so much for delusions of godhood. 1 of 2. To be continued there, Phantom Outsider. These continued ones. Oh, I see. I'll get back to that one, Dad Man. When I can see it, I try to jump to it real quick. Now we know where Kirk spent a lot of his shore leave. Also, I'd go there. Yeah, because they did sort of leave it open-ended, like you guys can come back and hang out and do magic anytime.
Yeah.
So that's where Kirk is in that dimension, and in the Nexus, Avon and his neighbor. Avon is his neighbor, by the way, too. Avon, as in my Avon from Blake 7. Could be, unless you mean someone else. Phantom. Thanks for being cryptic there. Dadman Walking 55's not having any of it. D minus. I think it's a minus. Or it could just be, again, you guys, I need that separation just in case. So I'm until I see something different, I'm gonna say D minus for you there. So I hope I'm not adding to your rating. It felt like a heavy-handed slap against Christianity. Considering the themes from creation to Lucifer. Plus, a character I wanted to slap Lucian myself with that constant annoying smirk and laugh. Fair enough. And it definitely was. You couldn't say Christian friendly for sure.
No.
You couldn't say it was that. No. I hear you. And if you're a Christian, I'm sorry if it offended you in any way.
Yes, that's true.
Scuba Pete. C. Just an odd episode. It was that.
Scuba Pete. Yeah, it is. It's weird, especially at the end. The ending is just so redonkulous.
Odd.
Silly.
Pat S, you're back. No, you could backtrack your ratings if you want to, Pat S, and throw them up when we get to the next one if you want, bro. It's fine. Good to see you back. Hopefully everything's all right over there.
Oh, and I hope your friend's okay.
Mrs. Dadman Walking 55. C. Crazy for Saturday morning. I thought the message was heavy-handed. Lucian annoyed me. and were they weak? And were they weak magic when on Earth? Confused. I'm not sure the wording what that means, but I'm not sure if that's a question. Oh yeah, I guess they weak? Was their magic weak when they're on Earth? Because they let themselves be pushed around on Earth like that. Maybe they just we're so peaceful they just let it happen, I guess.
Yeah, but she is right. Why wouldn't they strike back? Why wouldn't they strike out?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just didn't have any kind of a violent nature. They had
no qualms banishing Lucian.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Luke. Luke is not the devil, but anyway.
Mark D with the C. B. 4 out of 5 pentagrams. Amazing this was on TV for kids. The
Right.
nuns at my Catholic school would have made me go to confession.
Yeah.
Trek at its core with Kirk fighting to save the devil. This quote, let's see here, sums it up well. Humans have their faults, greed, envy, panicky fear. But in the centuries since the Salem witch trials, we have learned. We try to understand and respect all life forms. Yeah, I mean, I like some of those elements to the episode. Absolutely.
Yeah, I went
Indeed.
to Catholic and Christian school my whole life, and I totally agree. There'd be no way you could ever talk about this at school. That
Yep.
would not happen.
Yep. I've always loved this quote from Arthur C. Clarke. I mean, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic,
Yeah.
especially at the center of the galaxy. I also love that when the Doctor on Doctor Who once said, mentioned that to Ace, and she quoted, and he said, when she gave the quote, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, the Doctor said, well, the reverse is true, if you see what I'm saying. What do you say?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, I'm sure I've missed somebody, but I can't see if I have everyone. So, Avon lives. Yes, he does. Avon does live. I love him. I think, and Avon ducked for Blake Sevens fans. You'll know what that means.
Just to give an update here, because we're now 3 shows in. I just want you all to know that I've been watching all of your comments in addition to your ratings, and you guys are hysterical. Not only are you brilliant people, but you are so smart, funny, and wonderful to be around. I love your conversation. Please keep it going. It's marvelous. And we don't have the time to get to all of it, but I am reading all of it, and I love every second of it. You guys are the best.
Yeah, which for expediency's sake, I can't put up all the quotes that you all look. I would, because I love everything you do in the chat. We try to look at all of it for sure. We're trying to do stuff. So we just hope you're having a good time in there. And believe me, I love it when Mark puts the stuff he puts in there. In any event, we love everything you're doing in there. Always, never think we're ignoring it. We're just trying to, trying to get things done quickly. But we really appreciate you. Y'all being fantastic, and we hope you're having fun tonight. Are we ready to move on to our next episode? Because I don't think I see any other reviews. If I do, everyone, here's what we'll do from now on. If something happened that I missed you, I'm not doing it on purpose. So when you get to wait to the following episode and then double it up, put your 2 and say, and just tell me in your rating, say, you missed my last one. Here's that one. And there's the next one. If you could do that, that'd help out. Cause I'm trying to see everything, I'm blind as a bat and old and senile. And sometimes it does just flat lose the chat thingy. So how about that? That'll be our new approach. What do you think? Think that'll work?
Sorry, I zoned out for a second here. I was just reading
No problem.
something. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I beg your pardon.
I don't know. I was just telling the chat that from now on, if something happens that I miss one, just double it to the next review.
Yes, that's a great plan. That's a wonderful plan.
So are we ready for our next episode?
We are, boss. Season 1, Episode 9, air date November 3rd, 1973. Once Upon a Planet. And if you're following along with us in the Star Trek, the official guide to the animated series by Harvey and Skepis, we're on page 74. McCoy, Sulu, and Uhura beam down to the exact spot where the Doctor and helmsman arrived 3 years earlier. And just as they did then, they encounter the White Rabbit and Alice. Since the planet is known to manifest visitors' thoughts into reality, Sulu and Uhura ask McCoy if he was thinking of Alice in Wonderland, but he denies it. He is attacked later by the Queen of Hearts and her playing cards. The Doctor calls for an emergency beam-out, which retrieves him and Sulu and leaves Uhura behind. Scotty is unable to locate her because she is being held captive by the planet's computer underground. Perplexed that the planet is once again placed his crew's lives in jeopardy, Kirk beams down to find Uhura and Spock, McCoy and Sulu. The landing party's communicators and the Enterprise's transporters are both disabled shortly after their arrival. Wondering how the planet's keeper could allow this to happen again, the landing party gets their answer when they come across the keeper's headstone.
Uhura learns the planet's computer believes her to be a slave to the Enterprise and attempts to shut it down. The computer reads her thoughts and restrains her, then attacks the landing party with mechanical pterodactyls. Back on the Enterprise, Scotty discovers something from the planet is attempting to take over the ship. Needing to find a way underground before giant cats and dinosaurs devour them, Spock volunteers to be used as bait to lure the planet's automatic safety system to activate, which allows Kirk and his first officer the access they seek. Unfortunately, this now leaves McCoy and Sulu to fend for themselves against fire-breathing dragons. There may have been a slight flaw in Kirk's plan. Scotty finds a new computer being built in engineering as the planet's computer continues its attempt to take full control of the skyship so it can escape. Kirk and Spock arrive to save Uhura and the day and learn of the planet's computer's plans to leave so it can learn all from the species it will come across. Sometimes the writing in this book. Kirk is able to convince the computer to stay and allow these species to come to it, and it agrees. That was resolved quickly. The computer allows the Enterprise crew to enjoy shore leave on the planet once again, as long as this conversation continues. Back on the planet, McCoy and Sulu enjoy refreshments with Alice, the White Rabbit, and the resting dragons. And that's the coverage on this. What'd you think?
Oh, man. Shore Leave is one of my favorite episodes.
Yep, mine too.
I do not like this one.
Oh, you don't?
I think this is a terribly unnecessary sequel filled with a lot of really dopey ideas and concepts. Yeah. Don't know they needed to do this. A lot of tired tropes in this one. Everyone else might just go the other way because I like some dopey ones we just named, two really dopey ones that I was nicer to. This one aggravates me in a lot of ways, but you know.
Oh, Mrs. Dadman Walking, she says, my daughter is on her stream and I want to support her. You all have a great evening and see you next time. Mrs. Dadman Walking, we enjoy your company immensely, and I love that you're a good mom. Go and do your mom stuff and support your daughter, and please send her our best. And I hope she finds great success in her streaming. Thanks, Mom.
Indeed.
See you later.
Have a great night, Mrs. Dagman Walking. Good luck to the daughter on her streaming there. Absolutely. If you can find, everyone can find what the channel is, please. If you can find it later, tell us what it is, and we'll try to send some support that way, some subs. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, not an episode I like a whole hell of a lot. Let's put it like that. I thought it was really goofy and dumbass, to be honest with you. It's got some real stupid ideas in it. Personally, I thought the old bad computer trope thingy again.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'm a little out of line there, but not one of my. I don't know. I don't think they really needed to do this, or maybe they could have done a better sequel to it, because it seemed to be they've done some sequels on this series already, and we got more to go.
Yeah.
Sequel wise, so not a big fan of this episode, I must admit.
I understand.
So, you have notes?
I sure do. So there are some from the book, and then there are some from me. On page 76, Klein's two-headed red dragon would be modified and seen again in Filmation's Space Sentinel series in an episode written by Menville and Jansen. Computer sentience was a theme tackled by TOS and revisited again in Star Trek The Motion Picture, as well on Star Trek The Next Generation. 1953, The War of the Worlds inspired the design of the robot hovercraft and would influence the design of another craft in Season 2's The Pirates of Orion. And let's talk about some whoops. The Enterprise hangar deck doors open from one side, although in another TAS episode, as well as TOS, the doors were always seen opening from the center. But there are some that open from the side, so she should know that. I point them out. You can actually see in several episodes
well, not several, 3. Anyway, Sulu was shown on the planet and the helm of the Enterprise at the same time. Science uniform insignias appear on the crew's red operations uniforms, and Gabler appears in engineering at the helm on the bridge at the same time.
And on the bridge at the same time. Sorry.
And, oh, what did I say here? I said, once upon a planet. Hi, Shore Leave. I missed you. Spock says the Queen of Hearts appears in Through the Looking Glass and that it was one of his mother's favorite books. She actually appears in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Through the Looking Glass actually features the Red Queen, which is a different character.
Oops.
And that's all I have on that one. That's
Oops.
it. That's
There
all.
you go.
So yeah, the Lewis Carroll reference is incorrect, and it's
Oh,
a
boy.
little upsetting because of course Spock says it. So of course I'm gonna be upset about that.
Yeah, you'd think at least something basic like that they would check it out.
Yeah.
Do a little. I mean, everybody makes mistakes, of course, but you think that's one you kind of. It's fairly easily to check out if you're not sure, right? I mean, even back then they couldn't Google, but they could have done something.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know. I just thought it was very poorly handled. This story. I mean, it's a shame too, because anytime you get even the slightest spotlight on her, it's kind of cool. It's kind of nice to see her to get an episode where she gets to be part of it.
Yeah.
And Nichelle Nichols gets things to do to shine a little bit. I don't know. I did not really care for the whole idea of it. The keeper being dead, and then the computer being so. It's been there for eons apparently, but all of a sudden it just decided to go rogue but it was easily talked out of it as well. Kirk's like, you know what? You're not being very nice. Oh, okay. Never mind then. Sure.
That is what happens.
Kind of so.
That's exactly what happens.
But yeah, when you didn't have to really work at it that hard, it's like, you know something, it's not really nice to do the things you're doing. Well, okay, sure. Thank you. I don't know. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I just did not like this one a whole lot. I don't know about you. And again, nothing, not a super hatred or anything.
Yeah.
That's on the way. But this one, I don't like it much.
Okay, well, I think that it's not. I think it is neither divine nor disgusting. I do love the idea of shore leave, as you know. I love shore leave, and I love the idea of Fantasy Island. This idea where you go somewhere and you may get more than you bargained for, and there is this element of danger, and that it is possible to be harmed, and at the same time it's possible to not be harmed at all, and there's just that dark feeling. So I grew up really, really loving Fantasy Island, so that's one of the reasons why I have a lot of affection for shore leave.
I love it. Yeah.
This episode is not without its faults. It has some major faults, but I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I wouldn't mind a sequel to Shore Leave. This wasn't the best way to make that happen. So for me, I'm gonna just go ahead and give it a B-. I almost wanted to give it a C+, but because I just love the whole idea of that, of going to a place where you could be in danger, where you could die, you could be resurrected, you're actually not even sure if you actually do die in Shore Leave. That's never fully explained, like in the original.
No, it's
Shore
not.
Leave. So I just like the whole idea of it. It's scary. At the same time, it's not too scary for me because there's no violence or gore. So it's fun to play with that existential crisis. B- for me, boss.
Gotcha. My rating on this one is a D. I freaking hate it. Well, not hate it. Well, I dislike it extremely. I thought it was really D for dumb. I thought it was I'm so sorry if anyone likes this episode. No, I'm not. I still love you, but if you like it, this one I thought was, because I really love Shore Leave. I cannot stress how much. And if thoughts on you might make fun of me, but if it's not a top 10 or it's a top 15, I really do love Shore Leave so much. So I'm not so sure that any sequel would have been as good, but I think this has a lot of sloppy writing in it and some silly ideas. And again, the past couple of episodes had some very silly ideas, but some of them were redeemed with at least some Star Trekness to it. This one, the only Star Trek that's really here, aside from it being a sequel to an episode, is one of the more tired tropes of another rogue computer, and this one easily outsmarted. So again, my fury is
it just needed to be reasoned with, Clobby.
Yeah, right. It needs to say, you need to have some. You need to be nicer, basically.
Please stop doing that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll do that right away.
Well, if you're going to be that way about it. So, yeah. Anyway.
It's sad because shore leave is so much fun.
Oh, it's wonderful. I really love it.
Could you imagine if we could just go there and you and I could joust and we wouldn't get hurt?
It would be so much fun.
Could you imagine if we could skydive and we wouldn't get hurt? Like, just imagine all the things you could try to do, and it would take away all of your fear because you wouldn't die. It's such a cool idea, but yeah, womp womp.
Trust me, if it can be imagined, I've probably imagined it when it comes to what you could do on that planet, but we won't go into that. Sorry.
Well,
sorry.
The furry Playboy Playmates are pretty awesome.
Yeah, yes, they were. Okay, well, everyone, what is my good friends in the chat? What is your rating of Once Upon a Not Shore Leave Planet? And we shall see what they all think of this one. I bet they're all gonna love it. Maybe not. Anyway, go ahead, go forth. How you feeling, number one? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I hope you can't hear my dog barking in the background.
I did, and that's okay. We love doggies. We love doggies around here. You know that. Raymond D. 1 out of 5 White Rabbits. A poorly written sequel. They need to go to Ryza. Well, I need to go to Ryza, but no one ever asked me there. No.
Yeah, but you go to Ryza for a different reason. I mean.
Oh, do you really? Do you really though? I figure you go to Ryza for the same reason you go to the holodeck, but maybe that's just me. I'm just kidding. I'm Barkley. No. Ortiz named Dory North. But what the hell, Snortapoopus? Oh, my goodness. Scuba Pete says, gee, this wasn't the shortly revisited I wanted. The whole Alice meets the Land of the Lost. Yikes. Yeah, I actually like Land of the Lost, though. But yes, Queen of Hearts. I wanted to poker face. Whoa, nice. Nicely done.
Oh, I love you. I love you so much. Love you.
Snortapoopus will say a C-. The plot is derivative of the original episode Shore Leave. Well, it is a sequel to it. And actually not that all that similar other than that. And not particularly original. The another super AI needs to be educated.
Yes. I can see these are fair. These are fair.
Yeah.
These are totally fair ratings.
Indeed. D. Bud Martin C. Okay. Follow up to Shore Leave, but another predictable resolution, like Levy said, with the computer gone bad. It made me want to rewatch the original episode, which I did last night. Well, good for you. It's a classic. Wonderful.
D. Bud Martin, guilty as charged, my friend.
Did you do that too?
As charged. No, it's just just the sentiment. It's so true. Like, I want to give it a much higher rating than it deserves because I do love Shore Leave. So I love the tone and the sentiment of D. Bud Martin's comment.
It makes you want to break your OCD and just watch Shore Leave, huh?
Yeah.
But you can't do that. I bet you should try though. But here we go. Phantom Outsider, C+. The computer was advanced, as was the species that created the planet. It developing sentience is not a shock. This episode was different in that Kirk allowed the computer to live. Mm-hmm. I think I got your second one right here. Remember, it scanned the Enterprise computer and saw the wasteland of computer opponents. Kirk left in its wake. The original line was most congenial. Please don't hurt me. Oh, there's another one there. Oh man, I gotta jump forward. I can't find the other one, so I'm gonna find it when I can find it. Pat S. C-. Lando and got nothing Uhura. Okay. Lando and got nothing for Uhura. Was this what computer dating in the early 70s? No punch card, no love. That could be. Ain't. Oh, ain't. I got you. Ain't. I got you. Ain't it, though? Sandra Feliciano is a
This is a
C.
good one.
The computer was swayed too easily. Not a very well done sequel to Shore Leave.
No.
You can't die, but can you patch us, puppies? Apparently you can.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. What a great rating.
Let's see.
It's so
I think
funny.
we got this. Where are we at? Kirk introduced the concept of the dark side of the planet and the gift kiosk he took home. He took home a Ruth from Shore Leave, I guess, and 2 Orion bots.
Yeah.
He and crew also have standing open reservation now. And that's 2 of 3. Okay, I will get to that when I can, sir. That's number 3. These epics. What are you, Ash? Just kidding. Dead man's walking, number 55. C. Used a colon to avoid confusion this time. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You could have even used a semi, and I would have still appreciated it. Was not bad, but not great. But left me contemplating how exciting Shore Leave would really be in the Trek universe if that's all that was available. Yes, before Holodecks, you had the Shore Leave planet.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. All right, Mark D with a C. Wow, this is a low rating for him. D.
It is.
1 out of 5 vacuum tubes. Mostly recycled episode gives Kirk another opportunity to take out another machine. Crazy how Kirk then trusts the AI. 1 of 2. What's to keep it from changing its mind? No logic in this episode. Yeah, I mean, what if it learned lying?
Yeah.
And deceit?
It's true.
They'd be in trouble.
True. It's true.
Oh, that was it. Okay, Phantom Outsider, I got you. And I guess that could be. Is that all of our ratings, my friends?
I think so.
Okay, we give it. I think we got all of our ratings. If we get any more, just tack it on to your next one, and we have no problem backtracking. I mean, we'll give you 2 if anything happens because we love to get your ratings. So, number 1, are we ready for our next episode?
We are. We're on page 78. Of the
Oh,
text, and we're doing season 1, episode 10. The air date is November 10th, 1973. Harry Mudd's back. Kirk and Spock catch the irrepressible con man on the planet Motherlode, attempting to rip off its miners with a love potion. Mudd has a thing for tricking people into love. That guarantees no member of the opposite sex can resist its user. Mudd learns the Starfleet officers are there to arrest him, and when he explains Motherlode is outside the Federation jurisdiction, Spock reveals Mudd's ruse to the miners. They turn violent in response, and Mudd now sees the value of surrendering to Kirk and the Vulcan, but not without accusing them of losing his ship and love crystals. His pleas fall on deaf ears as Mudd is placed in the brig, where he observes Chapel pining for Spock. Seeking to exploit her feelings in order to facilitate an escape, Mudd gives a love crystal to the nurse. Good thing he still has some left. Chapel falls hook, line, and sinker. She makes contact with Spock, hoping to activate the Vulcan's affection for her, but nothing. She returns to Mudd only to discover he's escaped with her ID and phaser. She tracks the con man to the hangar bay, and Mudd steals a shuttle, taking her hostage. Meanwhile, Spock becomes enraged at Mudd for threatening his beloved Christine, which alerts Kirk and his first officer's strange behavior. Kirk to his first officer's strange behavior. Before he left the Enterprise, Mudd released some of the potion into the ship's ventilation system, and it has slowly affected the entire crew. Arriving on the closest Class M planet, Mudd's plan to leave Chapel and depart before the Enterprise arrives is thwarted by the planet's native rock creatures, who have other ideas and destroy the shuttle. The cavalry arrives to rescue Mudd and Chapel as they are being pursued by the rock creatures. Kirk orders a beam out, but his crew is too busy enjoying the effects of the potion to respond, leaving the quartet on their own. The captain has a plan and forces Mud to surrender his remaining love crystals. Kirk tosses them into one of the creature's mouths, which then turns on the other creature. Kirk, Spock, Chapel, and Mud are beamed back to the Enterprise, the effects of the love potion on the ship's crew having worn off. Mud, back in the brig, confesses to his litany of criminal escapades and is ready for yet another trip to the Federation Rehabilitation Colony. And that is the end of the summary. Not, sir.
How do I do this? How do I do this, number one?
What?
I'm faced with the most difficult decision of my career in the Starfleet. My God. Michael Beacom, hello there. Good to see you. I got to say that to help to say
Michael.
hello to somebody. It's good to say hello to somebody because...
You have a prisoner avatar. I love the prisoner.
Oh, wait. I didn't get a close look at it. Michael. Oh, yeah. The prisoner. We love the prisoner here.
I love number 6.
Well, it's great. Yep. Love it. Love the great show. What isn't great, however, is my opinion of this episode. This might be my most hated episode of the show. When I watched it way back when, I didn't really like it, but watching it recently, this might be the most idiotic piece of filth episode I've ever seen in my life of Star Trek, the animated series. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's insulting. It's an absolute disgrace to the character of Nurse Chapel, who would not do something so unethical to take a knowingly. And there's one thing if you write the thing where she's accidentally affected by this stupid love potion, but she takes it. That's not that she just because of her. I don't know. She's not the kind of person I would think of would take a love potion to make someone fall in love with her. Basically against their will.
Yeah.
That she wouldn't do that to anyone. I don't think she's that kind of person.
No, she's not. We know her very well, and that's not like her at all.
Yeah, I thought that was terribly out of character. The episode has all kinds of really. I know it's a comedy because look, I love the other Mud episodes in the original series. I love that Roger C. Carmel did the voice here. Mm-hmm. I love all that kind of stuff. I'm for them doing a sequel. It would have been fine. But this episode is full of really just duds at trying to be funny, unfunny crap. With by the way, I did one thing that I noticed that I noticed Mark D with a C point out, which is kind of funny. The love potion, it makes people of the opposite sex fall in love, but it only makes people of the same sex just really chummy and good friends. So it's basically this love potion is heteronormative.
It is.
I got to smile at that now. The times we live in. I'm sorry, that is kind of funny.
It's true.
It's goofy, but it's kind of because of the times when before you wouldn't have thought about it back then. But that's kind of funny. I don't know.
It's dangerous because it's certainly an episode that would be canceled today and on a go forward basis.
Yeah.
There is a possibility it could be removed from the IP. So it's very important to have physical media.
And I get they were trying to be funny. I understand it. We've talked about this a lot with the humor episodes of the original series. I love the funny ones. I love I Mud. I love Trouble with Tribbles. I love Piece of the Action. I didn't hate the Tribble sequel that we reviewed last week, but I was kind of so about it. This one's really stupid. I mean, in my opinion, it is really, really dumb in every single way. It's embarrassing. It's one of those things I laud this show so much, so often, even in a flawed episode, for not talking down the kids or being Saturday morning idiotic. This was Saturday morning idiocy to me. In other words, and by the way, for other cartoons, that's one thing, and it's fine. Because if you watch an old Saturday morning cartoon from back then, it's really ridiculous. You can laugh at it. Okay. But Star Trek, this show was way above that kind of thing. So how this one got by, Roddenberry didn't like, we were talking earlier how Roddenberry hated the Infinite Vulcan. I don't know how he liked this one. But maybe he did. Maybe it's just me. This episode really aggravates me. I thought it was really stupid. Sorry. But remember, I told you I had one I was pretty angry about. Ugh, really pissed me off. So maybe the title is applicable. Passion. I hate it with a passion.
You do.
With a much passion. So sorry. So anyway, but I don't want that to sway anyone else's review. If you love it, that's fine. Look, I'll just go. I'm fine with it. I'm not that angry, but I'm kind of laughing at it. But I thought, oh, it's pretty damn silly. But anyway, so number one, notes. Hope I didn't ruin your notes.
No, not at all. The fascinating is not really applicable to what we do around here because we're in the 735 Club, but the whoops is. So Scotty is in the transporter room with Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, well, also on the bridge. And Nurse Chapel's uniform collar has always been blue, but she is shown at one point in the episode with a black collar. And and then I just said, oh, I love that Scotty's hungover. Definitely not for kids. And then I just basically went on a little tirade, the same as you did, talking about the fact that this is not my Christine. Christine has integrity, and she would never do this. It's not in her character. It's not who she is.
No. You know, the only fun, kind of mildly humorous thing to the whole joke was because if they just read it different, like that somehow the stuff he acted, or maybe Harry found some sneaky way to affect everyone without having Christine a party to it, is still stupid. But I mean, you go, okay, but the fact that everyone, the side effect is everyone hates each other. That was kind of, I got a chuckle out of that, but still, no, it's just because that is kind of cute. But everything about your premise. Not so much the premise. If it had been an episode again, like where Harry Mudd comes on, and because he's a sneaky, and so he finds a way to do that to the crew, and without having an accomplice in Christine Chapel, which really just is terrible to the character, they would have worked at least a little bit better, I think. And the Scotty M. Rest thing was.
I thought that if they just would have left it, like I do think that this would be able to hold up with live action quality because of its witty banter, and it has really, 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 really well written. Sorry, I have a migraine. It has very well written dialogue. But and I'm sure you could excuse it by saying, criminals have a pattern and they reoffend using the same patterns and all of that. I would have been able to accept all of that, and I would have been able to give this episode a pass, except for the fact that this is not who Christine is. This is not the nature of her relationship with Spock, and it's not the nature of her relationship with herself, with her crewmates, or the audience. It's just ridiculous. And it's put at so much at the forefront as to be enraging. Like, I don't want to use the word enraging because that's hyperbolic, but it does cheese you off. You're just like, yeah, Christine would never do this. So yeah, that's just not who she is.
Not only that, the humor falls flat almost the whole time because we understand they're trying to be funny. Fine. For example, Mark David puts a point where when they cut back to the scene in sickbay and McCoy's trying to impress a woman by saying some dopey crap like, and my dear friend Scotty, and that pretty little to little her. We think how many times I've saved the guy's like, oh, this is making me want to hurl. This is bad. Why did you let this happen?
Yeah.
I mean, again, done a different way, it might have been cuter.
Yeah, I think there's potential here, but I think the fundamental flaw that leads the whole thing astray is betraying the character. And you know how I feel about that sort of thing. I don't like it when they betray Scotty's character, and I will not stand for when they betray Christine's character. We get to know these characters, and they have specific behaviors. We begin to believe they're truth tellers, they're people of integrity, or they're bad people and they're liars. And every single character has its own dynamic personality that we get to know. And this isn't Christine. They might as well have just made this a completely different character.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And one other point is, how we always talk about, and we used to talk about, on the series where sometimes you can have science that's not explained and you can accept it in a good episode because you go, we don't know why that is, so it's fine. Like the Guardian Forever. We don't know, but it's fine. Whereas opposed to garbage like the Mark of Gideon, where that's so ludicrous that there's a mock-up of the Enterprise with working turbo lifts and all this on a planet that allegedly doesn't have any space. In other words, something that is really easily just debunked to being really dumb. This episode's, for example, take Magic of Megas 2. Even if it is silly, you do have the plausible excuse if that's another universe where the laws don't apply, everything's different, it could be illusion, we don't know what's going on. It's still a dumb story, but at least you have that going for you. In this one, we have a potion that just affects everybody, including rock monsters.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, and there wasn't even any need for the rock monsters.
Yes, this was the kind of crap that was on all the other types of silly kiddie shows. And this show reduced it to a kiddie show, which it rarely was.
Scotty, Captain, Scotty is hungover.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so hungover.
Yeah.
His accent, but yeah, he's like super hungover.
Yes, indeed. Cardinal Sin, hello there. Good to see you, my friend. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. Good to see you. So, look, number one, what is your rating of Mud's Passion?
Well, I would be a lot more upset, I think, and enthusiastic in slamming this episode if it were not for my throbbing migraine. But I'm just going to say, don't ever do that to Christine. That's not who she is. We love her. So I'm going to give you a big old fat D for this one. This is a big old fat D.
Wow, that might be your lowest rating.
Yeah, I actually believe it is. I don't like to be too harsh on Star Trek because I love Star Trek, but there are just some times when there's a real stinker, a real flaming bag of dog poop left on the doorstep of the fans, and having Christine vacate all of her integrity and her entire personality to become someone we don't know in order to facilitate a Mud sequel, I think is just, it's bat poop crazy. It is the guano of crazy. Bat guano crazy. So this is a D.
Well, there's also the shame of wasting such a great talent as Roger C. Carmel. He is a good character. You really wasted a chance to have him come back on a great character and a great actor. That was a shame as well. I'm giving this one a big F. Oh. I should give it an F minus almost. This is a piece of F as in filth. God, I hate it. Holy crap. And it just, what a shame. This is even a lot of the most flawed episodes of this show aren't pure, unadulterated kiddie stuff dumbed down to a absolutely terrible level. This episode it's like the children got in there and got to make, or a bunch of network hacks. You talked a lot about corporate Star Trek. It's like a bunch of network hacks got in there and got it past everyone, and someone, Gene or whatever, just let this thing slide because Infinite Vulcan has all. I could see anyone giving it a low rating. It has its faults, but there are a few Trek moments and ideas in there. It's just a very flawed and screwed up episode. But it didn't bug me. This one, there's nothing good about it. It's just, I think it's terrible. Anyway,
why would they do that to Chapel? I know I'm harping on
it's terrible.
It, but why would you create that relationship with the audience? The audience knows that's not Chapel. Christine doesn't act like that.
No, she wouldn't. I mean, you could have just written it a different way where something accidentally happened. We do a plot device where, he puts the thing in the vent or whatever, and she and Spock happen to be working on something together. It was really. So I don't know what happened. Maybe Gene was on vacation. So everyone, my dear chat, please, we're making good time. Number one, let us get your ratings on Mud's Passion.
Let her rip. Green light. Go.
Cockney Spock, by the way, if you want that prisoner order, I'll when I get a chance, I will be glad to send you a DM on Twitter for that if you help me remember, sir.
Oh, and now they're rolling in. I think Raymond Feliciano is the first. They're 11 minutes past the hour.
All right. All right, at least an F. One out of love potion number 9. 1 out of love potion number 9. I'm not gonna sing it. Sorry. The only redeeming factor, if anything, was Karma reprising his role, porn stash. Yes.
I love you, Raymond.
Porn stash. Pat S. A minus.
What?
Of all the things brought up by Clobbering, you spell my name right. Is that really you, Pat? He left out one big thing. Kirk and Spock wept that pink shape-shifting alien to get beat to death by space miners. What the hell? But A- for Harcourt Mudd. Okay, that's fair enough.
Harcourt Fenton Mudd.
You've been overeating and drinking, you miserable.
I would totally
Where was
go
Stella?
for it, but my head's pounding.
I wish Stella had been in this episode.
Yes.
He deserves Stella after this one. Snowdeboo Skewer D-. The return of Roger C. Carmel is about the only good thing about this recycled plot, with Christine Chapel coming off as just too gullible, and she does something really terrible as well because of her perennial infatuation with Spock. Yes, she's...
Can we just talk about the fact that I wish Snortapoopus would have written this book? Listen to this wonderful turn of a phrase. Okay, I teach writing, so I can't stop myself from looking at the substance of what folks write. And listen to this. Christine Chapel coming off as just too gullible because of her perennial infatuation with Spock. Snortapoopus, I love you so much. Such great writing and wonderful comments. Love you, love you. Mwah, mwah.
I want to yell your name, but my head hurts.
No yelling for you tonight, number one. We don't want you to hit hurt even more. You are feeling decent enough, though. You're okay?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You're doing good. Good. Sandra Feliciano, C-. Mudd with more love crystals.
Yeah.
Yep. Different ones this time, apparently. Well, no, they had, Chapel gullible enough or so lacking in integrity to fall for his games. Also, just terrible. The writers seem to have trouble coming up with the original ideas. Disappointing episode, to say the least. With you there, with you, Sandra.
Well, that's Stephen Candell nincompoop, Sandra.
Yes, he was an absolute tool. Phantom Outsider. D. I say the only reason Chapel acted as she did. Mudd is a great salesman. He sold snow cones to rebels on Hoth. Mudd is a level snake oil salesman, and the not liking was, I feel, more like regret. One of two.
Trying to say trying to say that once it wore off and they felt hate.
Oh, the hate,
that it was actually more regret over their actions. That's an interesting insight. I wish you would have helped them author this episode, Phantom Outsider, because, like you said, it's a D. It's a big old stinker. It's a big old bag of poop.
Yeah, I think it was just a cheap joke myself, but I hear you. And by the way, I just don't think there's any excuse for her falling for his crap. She's more intelligent than that. So anyway, I'll get to the second part when I can find it, my friend. D. Bud Martin says, C. Typical Mudd story. I love Roger C. Carmel too much to give it a lower grade. This one makes me want to watch the Mothers-in-Law show, which also starred Mr. Carmel. I vaguely remember that. He was a great actor. He was also my favorite Batman two-parter episode in which the Green Hornet appeared in a two-parter called A Piece of the Action, and the second part was Batman Satisfaction. So, and he was Colonel Gum in that one. So, yeah, he's great.
I hear you, Bud Martin. I'm the same way. I try not to be too harsh on Star Trek, but there's just sometimes when they're a big stinker, right? Anyway,
they deserve it.
Yeah,
they deserve it this time because this was no excuse. I don't know. Like I said, Gene was probably on vacation.
Yes.
But let's hope so. Mark, do what he says. Yeah.
Has Mark ever given an F before, Captain?
I don't know. I thought I was the only one that hated this one.
Captain, I really don't think he's ever given an F before.
I don't know. We'll have to ask him. Let us know, Mark, if you did. Our good buddy Mark D with us. He says F, 0 out of 5 little blue pills. Episode is a mess. Flawed with jokes that fall flat and the crew acting out of character. At least Kirk finally meets a rock creature that doesn't want to kill him. Well, it does it first. It does it first. But yeah, eventually it falls in love with him, doesn't it? So that was so stupid. It works on everybody. Vulcans, rock creatures, what the hell? Just silly.
And how would you swallow
jokes.
it? They look like diamonds. That's another thing. Like at least before they kind of look like gummy bears, so you could get it right. They look like Maynard's wine gums, but these ones they look like you're swallowing diamonds.
Right. That wasn't a love potion. That was just something that made women look or like gave the illusion that they looked wonderful or something like that.
It was actually women. It was a placebo, right?
Yes. Yeah. So Well, he had a different one. Remember, Kirk switched it on him. Yeah. But
Yeah.
Oh, that was also kind of unclear.
It was all in your mind. It was just your confidence.
No,
You're confident. Yeah,
good.
Weird. You're really a shape changer. When emotions are manipulated, this is the second part for Phantom Outsider. When emotions are manipulated, there's going to be regret. I still think it was just a cheap joke. Mud has a particular MO. Mud's women, Venus drug, I Mud, Lady Droids, Mud's passion, love potion. Using that was left chapel, visited giant Spock. Huh? Yes, I got you. Well, I still think it was a silly joke. I agree. Lots of things happen. Michael Beacon. That's not a review, but I hear you, Michael Beacon. Is that a rating? Let's see here. No, I agree. Lots of things that happen for the convenience of the plot. Now they only have 20 minutes so to get it. So yes, they did the time constraints of 22.
Yeah.
Roughly 22 minutes is not easy, but there's no excuse for this one.
No.
Yeah, for this one, there's no excuse. Someone should have looked at this script and said, that would be a no.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Still asking guesses, Deckard. I don't know if Deckard's a replicant, but a replicant definitely made this episode we're talking about here, Captain Spock. Oh, well, I think we got everybody on that one. We're making fantastic time tonight, I believe. We've got one more to go. Let's see if we got everybody. If we didn't, look, as always, if we missed you for some reason, just double it up. Put your review of whatever episode. If we miss you on one in the previous one, I don't know why I didn't think about that ages ago. Well, number one, but that's probably the best way to do that, wouldn't you say?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, everybody. Let's see here. So I got that episode out of my system. And everyone else's.
Yeah, I love Christine. That wasn't very nice to my Christine.
Yeah, and again, like I said, you could have just solved it with a different writing it in a different way, different narrative, like where it just, she didn't know about it, and you could have still had your silly comedy, and because you do that all the time on Star Trek and everything else, where people act out of character because of their induced or somehow. She chose to do that to Spock, and
she wasn't under any type of influence,
No.
and it didn't even take too much to convince her to
No.
Yeah, it's sad.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I didn't have a headache right now, if I didn't have a migraine, I would rant so hardcore on this. You all know how much I love Chapel, and I really love the fact that she has this passion for Spock, and there's such a potential for him to wind up in the same position as his father, loving a human woman and marrying her, and that tension meant a lot to me when I was younger. Like I thought it was wonderful that he would love a human woman, because of course Spock was the object of my affection. So I wanted it to, of course, consider that he would marry me as well, me being just, a lowly human. Anyway, it's just, it's very sad if you really love Chapel and you really think Christine is a great woman. And I think she is. So it's disappointing.
Absolutely. Phantom Outsider, that's true. They could have found any number of ways to get around that. They didn't have to compromise their character. So
Phantom Outsider said that. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, Phantom Outsider. Yes.
They could have done anything except for that. That was just a dumb thing to do.
Not good. So, I bet Magil probably wouldn't have liked it if she cared at the point. I don't know. She might have said something, but she might have been, not paying attention either. That's okay. Just one episode. We're fine. Now, are we ready to move on to the next one?
We are, boss. And if you're following along in Star Trek, the official guide to the animated series by Harvey and Skepis, we are on page 84. Season 1, Episode 11, air date November 17th, 1973. The Territon Incident. When it comes to investigating new life forms versus a mapping mission, Kirk will always choose the former and is given the opportunity to do so when Uhura receives a radio signal from the star Cepheus. The signal is transmitted via a code which has not been used in centuries and only repeats one word, Territon. The Enterprise enters orbit around Cepheus and is bombarded by a pulse, followed by a blinding light, which results in all of the ship's dilithium crystals being smashed. Kirk also learns the mess hall's utensils are too big for the crew to use, prompting him to believe the Enterprise is expanding. However, Spock offers an alternative. The crew is shrinking. Not knowing exactly how much longer they can maintain the Enterprise, Kirk instructs the crew to jury-rig their controls. As Sulu objects, he falls off his console and breaks his leg. A new problem presents itself, an attempt to take the helmsman to sickbay as the crew has become too small to be recognized by the turbolift doors. Luckily, Kirk finds one of Uhura's hairpins, which allows him to trip the sensor, or sensor. In sickbay, it's now Chapel's turn to fall as she slips into a fish tank. Kirk rescues the nurse with a random needle and thread he finds lying around. It's time to go to the planet. Well, they still can. So Scotty and his engineers use thread and their weight to operate the transporter and send Kirk to the planet. Wow. They just leave out words in this book. They're just unbelievable. Some of the writing is so bad. The transporter has returned a Kirk to normal size, and the captain comes across a tiny city while attempting to flee multiple volcanic eruptions. An automatic beam out returns him to the Enterprise, but he cannot find any of the crew until he notices a little speck at navigation. It's Scotty, who reveals the bridge crew was beamed off the ship. Kirk threatens to fire on the city, which prompts the inhabitants, the Terratons, to contact the ship. It's revealed they are descendants of an early lost colony, and the waves that hit the Enterprise also shrank their ancestors. They beg for Kirk's help, and he orders his crew to return to the ship with as much dilithium as they can carry. The planet has a ton of it. The captain orders the Enterprise's departure when Spock reminds him of something. The Terratons are still stranded. Finally rescued, the colonists are taken by the Enterprise to their new home, Verdonis.
And that is all the summary has to say.
What'd you think, Club?
This is an episode that gets a little bit more on track from the last one in the sense that yes, you could certainly go, God, they shrink. That's kind of Saturday morning-ish, but they actually try, unlike things I'm talking about in that last a couple episodes, they actually at least try to give you some decent or at least contextual explanations. For example, why do their clothes shrink with them? They addressed it. Why are they shrinking? Again, there was elements in their clothes that are organic as well, or something along those. In other words, they actually addressed things in this episode, and it was trying to give you. I don't mind something like this on a Saturday morning version of Star Trek, where if you tried it on the original series, it might seem a little sillier. This is the kind of thing you can do. Roddenberry talked about this when he said there are things you can do on a cartoon that you can't really do in live action for budgets and things like this. So I didn't think the episode was particularly super well handled in the sense that I think it was one of those, like we were talking earlier, they probably needed more time to, you need a lot more time to deal with your story, to let it breathe. If you'll pardon the pun, cut short. Maybe that's not a pun. You're the wordsmith, but whatever it is, it's a bad joke. But I don't hate this episode. I thought it was trying to be kind of a fun Saturday morning type of an adventure with a kind of a basic old style science fiction plot of people shrinking, that kind of stuff. And for that, I'll laud it. I'll give it some points. This episode is at least a little more entertaining, and it's not, to me, you can call it a little goofy, the shrinking thing. I don't. I'm saying a lot of people have, but I think it's not insulting like Mutt's Passion. It's kind of a fun episode. And again, there's a lot of, unlike Mutt's Passion, there's a lot of Trek in there in the sense that the stuff with the alien race or the alien beings, again, at least they tried to find some kind of scientific explanation for them. They're shrinking and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think it's a bad episode. I think it's fairly entertaining. That's just me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I agree. I like this episode. They're in the book. They don't really have anything for behind the scenes, other than the fact that shrinking the crew is something Roddenberry always wanted to do, which is also in my notes. I just said Gene's dream was to shrink the crew, and so because of that, he was able to do that here. So this was his one of his dreams come true. So that's in my notes, and it's also in the book. But that's all the book has.
Okay. That's cool. I did not know that, but I kind of like that he wanted to kind of go, do something that's a little out there.
He did. He always wanted to shrink the crew and just couldn't find a way of doing it. It would have been too expensive.
Yes, at that very time, there was when the original series was on, there was a great Irwin Allen show called Land of the Giants. And I don't know if you're familiar with it, but that was a very expensive show.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would have been, there's no way he could have done it with this budget, especially with the third season, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but again, I like the fact that this was more of an attempt, sure, to be kind of an outlandish and a fun kind of Irwin Allen kind of way of the crew shrinking and stuff like that. Because Star Trek is one of the many facets of Star Trek. In addition to being thoughtful, is being kind of fun and entertaining. This is kind of along those lines.
Yeah.
So again, I think this is a solid kind of a fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we ready to rate this one?
Yeah, I have notes, but not.
Oh,
very much.
no. Oh, I thought you'd mentioned your notes. No, please go with your notes.
In the book, it didn't have anything except for Jean's dream was to shrink the crew, which I also had.
I misunderstood you.
Oh, no, that's okay, Captain. Don't worry about it. I'm off my game, anyways. So in this episode, you'll hear Cephas and Cepheus. It's important to know that those are two different names in Greek, but you'll hear both. And you'll also see both spellings. Of course, Cepheus being a king in Greek mythology, and Peter in the Bible. And also here, the crewman is wearing eyeglasses. So that's a goof. He shouldn't be wearing eyeglasses, but and that's not included in the book. And I didn't get that from anywhere. That's just me watching. So next time you watch it, you'll notice crewman's wearing eyeglasses. He shouldn't be wearing eyeglasses. And I like this episode. I don't super love it. I think it has lots of flaws, but I think it's good, and I enjoy watching it. And I try and give as high a rating as possible. For this one, I'm going to go ahead and give it a B, boss man.
Nothing wrong with that. And nothing wrong with that. The fact that because they went to the effort to make it kind of a fun, trope where the shrinking and stuff like that, like a very Saturday morning type deal, and yet went to the trouble, like they do in a lot of these episodes, to try to give you some scientific context to it, to just not dumb down or really insulting the intelligence of its audience the way Much Passion does or something like that. And even was it Martin D. with us? He just said they also talk about DNA on a Saturday morning episode. Exactly. I give it a B minus because it is a fun episode. And again, maybe I just like shrinking episodes because we already talked about The Incredible Shrinking Man.
Yeah,
a great movie, and and I mentioned Land of the Giants. So yeah, a fun episode for sure. So
yeah. And
I will now ask our wonderful chat to give their ratings. For the
on your mark, get set,
go. Rate the Terrated incident, my good friends in the chat. And while we're waiting on that, and it should start popping up in a second. I do hope you're feeling better, dear, because I know you're a trooper and you wouldn't tell me anyway because you're fine. But I'm hoping you're feeling better.
Well, I'm actually really happy that I slept most of the day and I took the maximum amount of Advil because it enabled me to come on the show tonight, and I wouldn't miss this for the world. I thought to myself, there's no way that I can miss out on hanging out with you and miss out on being with all my friends here in this wonderful community. So I'm happy. I'm so happy that I was able to get through it, and it wasn't actually too bad.
Well, we're glad you're here. So, but also we want you to take care of yourself. So that comes first. So if anytime.
Boss, I'm going to be sleeping well tonight. I'm going to
there you go.
I'm going to go right to sleep.
There you go. I believe this will be our first one here. Snora Poopa says a B. Honey, we shrank the crew. Thank goodness for those transporters. Yeah, yep. Transporters save the day again. Yes.
Yes. And my favorite bear gave the same rating as I did. Love you, bear.
Yes,
my
indeed.
Snorta Poopas.
Indeed. Let's see. Well, on Shrinking Planet, Snorta Poopas Burr would. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was review. I'm sorry. Rating. Sorry. Eric KB. I would have loved to see the adapted poorly properly in see it in TAS. Yeah, it could have been fun. Yeah, it would have been fun.
Agreed. Agreed.
I loved Land of the Giants, by the way. I don't know if any of you ever watched that. I don't know if you've seen it. That was a fun show. Yeah, I like some of those Irwin Allen silly fun shows like that.
I love the way that Eric's mind works. I love the way that he thinks about Star Trek and the different ways that the stories could unfold. And I love his comments so much. Great comments tonight, Eric.
Well, we all love the Eric K man, you know that. Let's see here. D-Bud Martin, C+. Plot-wise, this one is a little bit like wink of an eye to me, but executed better because of animation. Kind of fun, but it really didn't grab me. Fair enough.
That's fair, sir.
Septic Stream has popped in. Hello there, Septic Stream. Thank you for popping in. In fact, I saw you pop in earlier. Saying late or not, we're just glad to see you. We really appreciate you dropping in. Rates it A++. Just because the episode is the whole reason the animated series was made, it was Barry's dream. Well, there you go. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Sandra Feliciano gives it a B-. At least it's kind of a new story. Fun episode without a lot of acting out of character. Yes. Yeah. And again, they had some clever stuff in it with them, having to innovate and do all, or not innovate, well, come up with ideas to how to work the transporter and all that other kind of stuff. That was fun. It's a Saturday morning cartoon that it has that Saturday morning fun element to the episode where they're shrinking. That's the kind of thing, that you would see on Saturday morning. And yet again, there are a lot of intelligent Trek, elements to it. So that's why I like it.
Love that rating. Thank you, Sandra.
R.A. Feliciano, B. Great concept. I enjoyed the Incredible Shrinking Crew. I gotta watch that again. Incredible Shrinking Man. If you haven't seen that, folks, that's like one of the greatest science fiction films of all time. And aside from the dumb Incredible Shrinking Woman remake with Lily Tomlin, they haven't remade that yet, and they better never, because they couldn't have touched that original. Another one where let's use the transporter to fix things can trouble. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll give it a pass on that one. Pat S. B-. I don't know Land of the Giants. Let's see. I didn't know Land of the Giants had a cartoon.
What a fantastic
voyage. We got you. Oh, how dare you? Good one. Maybe the crewman was allergic to Retinox 5. No hair and mud, but still a B. Yeah.
Great comments, Pat.
That's the first thing when you were mentioning the glasses that made me think of Retinox 5. B+ for Scuba Pete. Felt like a Super Friends episode where they shrink down. There was an Super Friends episode. I'm sure you remember that one. Obviously, that when they did shrink. Besides, it's cold in space. Your crew would shrink too. Oh,
I love you so much.
How dare you?
Just want to yell your name, Scuba Pete. I love you.
Let's see here. Phantom Outsider. Showed shrunken humans can still be jerks. The use of the fish and mice to test the effects of environment. Nice canary in a coal mine. Nod. One or two of those mini jerks were sent to rise. Weird stuff. Rise away. Yeah, I like the transparent mice thingies, the gossamer mice or whatever they call them.
Yes.
I like those.
But I like how he calls the Lilliputians mini jerks.
Yes, mini jerks. They are. Yeah, they were. The use of tools to manipulate the ship was also a nod to Gulliver's Travels and the Lilliputians. Real Trek is Real Trek is very literary.
Yes.
Real Trek is smart Trek.
That is crazy that just happened, that we just said that at the same time. Phantom Outsider. Yeah. What a great comment. Love you.
We have the smartest chat around there. Marty with the C. B+. 4 out of 5 10/10s. I love the idea of this episode with crew shrinking and scientific explanations. Transport cure, a little too easy, but lots of fun to see the ingenuity of the miniaturized crew. That was fun.
Mark.
Absolutely. Let's see. Green Arrow was the guest. Yeah, the guest. I remember that one. It was one of the first. I think that was the first season Super Friends episode, if I'm not
Dr.
mistaken.
Gulliver? You had a Dr. Gulliver on something?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That
Too bad
would
that
have
was
been
Dr.
totally...
Oh, yeah. That was a reference. Yeah, in that Super Friends episode. Yep.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. That would be
Yes.
something I would like to see. I love Jonathan Swift.
It was just a kind of they named him that as kind of a, nod type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they were, yeah.
Very cool.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, back then, anything, even stuff made for Saturday morning cartoons, as we've talked about often, people were good at putting actual literary references and everything, even
Yes.
no matter what the entertainment was, as we both
Yes.
know.
Lots of illusion. Lots of illusion.
Yes, absolutely. R. Feliciano, Chemistry Ferret says a photon buys an airline ticket. Okay, I thought that was a rating. I'm sorry, but yes, cool. Oh, look who's here.
Hey, Rod Thunderheart.
The great Rod Thunderheart.
So good to see you, my friend.
Always good to see you, buddy. You got here right at the end there, and we're just glad to see you, though. And let's see here. I do believe we've got all of our.
Is that it?
I think we got our ratings.
Oh my goodness! Can everyone believe how quickly we blew through 6 episodes, 2.5 hours?
Wow, nice. Yeah, I'm shocked.
Yeah,
but it's
so
which
fast.
is cool though. Which is cool. Yeah. So I think we can start wrapping it up, I suppose, if we've got the Territon incident. If anyone else has anything to say, we'll be here a second to watch and everything. But I think we got that taken care of. There we go. Wow. Burned through 6 of them.
We did so well.
Yeah. Yes,
Next
indeed.
week it will be 5 again.
Oh, yep. Oh, we're doing 5 again? Okay.
Yeah, I think it was D. Bud Martin who suggested that, and I really like it because of the way it deals with season 2. So if we keep on that schedule, I think that was the schedule he came up with, and the numbers work out really nicely if we do it that way. So yeah.
Yeah, 5, 6, 5, 6. That's a little above my pay grade math, folks. I always like to believe there'll be no math involved. Nobody told me to be a math test. So no, good call. Yeah,
Snorta Poopa says, I think we wanted to take it easy on you, Raquel, so you can hit the pillows early. Yeah.
Yes, we do want you to do that. Yes.
I love all of you so much, but you know what? It was so worth it. It was so worth it. I would have missed you so much. You're all my friends. We've created such an amazing community here, all of us together, and I would have truly have missed you, and that's not something I could let happen. And you've all cheered me up immensely. So thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. You guys are great company. You guys are so smart and fun and just great to be around.
Yep, you're all such a great group.
Deepak Martin, my degree is in math, so I had to come up with it. You have a degree in math. I love that. That is just absolutely wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. If my buddy Cardinal Sin, I think, is in the if I'm reading you right, Cardinal, you're in the central time zone, bud. You are. I think you are. No. Well, in 79 minutes, he has a show, Midnight to Midnight, he does. He is, of course, a buddy of ours. We've both, Raquel and I, have hung out with him on his channel, and he's a good friend of the show. I'm going to put this link in there, everyone. We're going to say our goodbyes in a second. I just want to get that up there because he mentioned it. Yeah. He'll be doing the show in a little while, folks, because we're about done here. And so there's a link in the chat to his Midnight to Midnight show that he is doing. And he's our friend. We wanted to give him a little help. Oh, in 20 minutes? Well, I just clicked on there, buddy, and it says in 78 minutes.
Ooh.
It's scheduled according to this, my time, and I'm in Central, 1 a.m. So if you meant it to be midnight Central, you may have to go back and fix that, brother.
Thank you for all of your well wishes, everyone. I love you all so much. You guys are such wonderful, wonderful people, and I consider you all my friends. And thank you so much for your well wishes. I wish you all love, and I hope you all have a great weekend.
Indeed, indeed. Memorial Day weekend, so maybe a lot of people were out and about, some of our friends. But
nice.
Yes, let's see here. I'm going to do a little show note, my friends, and then we're going to say our goodbyes. And we're going to get Raquel out of here so she can get some rest. Let's see here. Monday night, on the Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk show.
Yeah.
My fantastic friend from Retro Blasting, the master of Retro Blasting, of course, Michael French, will be joining me to, since it's a comics night. Oh, you changed it. Okay, you changed it, everyone. Please go to Cardinals. And by the way, in the description below, I have a link to tons of channels of a lot of good friends, including my bud Cardinal Sin there. So please go subscribe to his channel, and please check his show out. He changed it, so in about 20 minutes at midnight Central, he will be hosting his show, midnight to midnight. So please go help him out there. Please, if you can, go out there and watch his show.
I love this Monday night Marksy Comics talk because I love the turn of the phrase worst to first. I think this is going to be a great show, and I think it's going to be really exciting and lots of fun. Retro blasting. You guys are going to have a great time.
Oh yeah. I can't wait. Michael's an amazing friend, and I bugged him on short notice, and he said yeah. So because I just thought of it, every time I get done with a Monday night topic, I go, oh man, what am I going to do next week? I just can't think of one. And he and I wanted to do this for a long time. I haven't really done this since my old days at BTR. So yes, everyone, all 23 MCU films ranked from worst to first. I'll give my list. He will give his. Yeah. And that means you're gonna have a variety of us really ripping the crap out of some stuff, and then when the lower we get, or the more we move along, we're getting to, because we both like a lot of those films as well. Oh, well, that's a good point, D. But yeah, my wonderful friend Purple Valkyrie, who had me on the other morning with her. I love her to death. She's on tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central our time, having Mr. Cameron Pasha on there with her. And again, there's a link in my description below. So absolutely. I forgot all about that. So thank you so much for that, D. Bud Martin. Now, let's see. We're going to say our goodbyes so we can get moving here. But again, that is, of course, Monday night, 8 p.m. Central, everyone. If you're a fan of the MCU or you're a comics fan or whatever, please come see us. And again, it's just Memorial Day, so I hope everyone has a wonderful Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Okay, Phantom Outsider, thank you for being here, my friend. We appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. It's always a pleasure. You're a great contributor.
Weekend. Yeah, yes, have a great weekend.
Happy Memorial Day weekend to you. D. Bud Martin, my good friend and fellow comic shop owner. Go ahead, Eric. Take the shot. You know you want to. It's coming. Just watch for you. Let me know when he hits it. The Extraordinary Felicianos. That's in Raymond and Sandra. Thank you so much, my dear friends, for being here tonight.
Romantic, smart, fun, talented couple. I love you guys so much. Have a great weekend.
Indeed. Box Night 7 was here earlier. Again, whether you're here or not, we like to shout you out because you're our dear friends, and we appreciate you all. So Box Night 7, thank you. The great Lord Thoth had to run, but he gets a mention because we love LT and he's a good friend. Lord Thoth, Avon lives, long live the Legion, my good friend.
LT.
The great aforementioned Eric K, master of great wrenching. Eric K, my brother. We always appreciate you, bud.
Yeah, Eric.
There it is. Clockwork, folks. Clockwork. He is on the ball.
I love you, Eric.
I test him, and he always just gets the job done, doesn't he? You can always count on Eric K. To be mean to me. Oh no! All right, let's see here. Snortapoopas Cuber. Thank you, Snort. We appreciate you.
Love you. Thank you for all your wonderful comments. You're so sometimes you're just brilliant, and I just enjoy your company immensely. Have a great weekend.
Yes, indeed. I hope that didn't mess up your headache even worse. By the way, I put a link in the chat, everyone, even though there's a link below. Our good buddy Arn Feliciano. Well, dude, you did it right before me. There you go.
Oh, lovely.
I mean, Arian, Raymond, I put your link to your book. Please go check this book out. But I mean, the split second after you put it in there, brother. But either way, actually, his link is better. He's got more info on there. But there you go. Okay. All right, where are we at? Steve Mitchum was here earlier. Don't know if you're still here, my brother.
Maddie's
we appreciate you, buddy.
Good
Maddie's
weekend.
daddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, but we appreciate you, brother. So thanks for being here. Where are we? What are we doing? Okay. J-Man was here earlier. He had to run. But I appreciate you, J-Man. Thank you so much. Liger fan was here earlier. Don't know if you're still here. My pleasure, Raymond. You're the best, man. We appreciate you, sir. Yeah. You're a good friend of this channel. and a great friend of the Global Geek Gang, buddy.
Yeah.
Liger fan, thank you. Scuba Pete, and they call him Scuba Pete. Appreciate you, Scuba.
Pete. Love you so much. Have a great weekend.
Our fantastic, great friend and master of all that is Canadian wrenching, the great Chris Persia, buddy.
I love Chris. Chris.
Oh, Chris,
I love you.
I cannot express to you, man, what a good friend you've been to the show. We appreciate you, man. Really do.
Wonderful person. Love him so much.
Dark Shadow Logan, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. We really appreciate you.
Yay.
My good buddy and fellow Louisianian, the great Pat S.
Yes, Pat, you were so funny tonight. Thank you so much for your comments.
We will meet one day, buddy. We will hang out one day, Pat. The Mr. and Mrs. Dad Man Walking.
Yeah.
We really appreciate you. It's so great having you both here and new friends at the show that we really love having you pop in for us. It's good to see you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, Thank you so much. Good to see you.
And good luck to your daughter's endeavor there. She's starting a channel. I just want to say I think it's marvelous that, you would support her in that way. And we wish her the greatest success. Thank you so much for coming tonight.
Indeed. A great friend of the channel for a long time, and in my opinion, and for me anyway, a great friend in real life. It's always fantastic to have Mark D with a C here. Hey, brother. We
Mark
appreciate you, buddy.
I love you so much. You know, Mark D with the C is like Clobby. He's my friend in real life. I just absolutely love that person. He is such a kind and wonderful man. I would like to say that Mark D with the C's daughter is graduating from college. I think tomorrow. He's very proud of her, and she's worked really, really hard. So if you could just maybe in the chat, maybe give her a little shout out. I think it would be marvelous if maybe she was having a glass of champagne after her celebration, and turning her tassel, that she would see how much our community supports her. So maybe Mark D with Mark D's daughter, or congratulations, or the champagne emoji, whatever you'd like to leave up in the chat. But I just wanted to say on behalf of Clubby and myself, Mark D with the C's daughter, congratulations. You've worked so hard. A degree is 4 long years of a lot of work, and your father loves you immensely, and he is so incredibly proud of you. And just our congratulations go out to you.
Indeed. Congrats, bro. Appreciate it, man. Oh, by the way, before I continue with this, I forgot earlier this morning, when we started, to give the shout out, Dan Hadley of the Spacebook YouTube page. I put a link in my description below. I was honored to be a guest on his show this morning. He's a Brit from it's over there, so they were a different time zone. They do a great geek channel. So again, it's called the Spacebook. I was on there, very pleased to be hanging out with them this morning. So the shout out to Dan. Thank you, Dan Hadley, good dude, and he has a good channel. You guys go check that out, please. Brightest Day. We appreciate you. Thank you for being here today. No evil will ever escape your sight. Kal-El 48, thank you for being here. We appreciate you. The Catman, a.k.a. Dee Myers, was here. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you for stopping by.
He had to run, but the great Ash Singh, my good friend Ash, was here earlier. We love you, Ash. Appreciate you, bud.
Mwah, mwah.
Just another red shirt popped in earlier. Always a pleasure, my friend. Great to see you.
Thank you for stopping by.
Elagabilis was here.
Yes. Thank you for stopping in.
Elagabilis, thank you, buddy. Always appreciate you. Crucible the Crazed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for popping in. Absolutely. Janet from Another Planet was here earlier. Janet.
Yeah, Janet.
Always,
we love you.
Always great to see you.
Yeah.
Also stopped in earlier was Apollome's Minion and
Pupper.
I knew you were going to say that. The great JT Cook was here. JT.
Yes. So
Thank
good
you,
to
sir.
see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Loved your comments tonight.
Indeed, indeed. Great to see you. Canadian Spider-Man who does whatever a Canadian spider can.
I love you, my fellow Canadians. Steve, it's so good to see you. I'm so happy that you stopped by. You're a great company as usual. And be sure to look on Netflix to get the animated series.
Indeed, indeed. Cardinal Sin, have a good show later, brother. Thank you for popping
Yes.
in. Hello, and everyone go to subscribe to Cardinal Sin's channel, please.
Yeah.
My great buddy, Just Joe 47, aka Jobber, friend from the old days. Jobber. Thank you. Captain Cockney Spock, thank you for popping in and hanging out
Yeah.
with us tonight. We
Thank
appreciate you,
so
buddy.
much. Yeah.
Appreciate
Lots
you.
of fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Indeed. Thank you for popping in. Thank you so much. Let's see, El Gusto, thank you for popping in.
Very nice.
It's good to see you. We appreciate you. As Zax7, thank you. Michael Beacom,
Yeah.
if I'm getting that right. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that correctly. Michael, thank you for popping in. That we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Septic Stream, thank you for popping in tonight. We appreciate you. And of course, we got a visit at the last moment there from one of our great buddies, the great, magnificent Rod Thunderheart. Rod, we love you, buddy.
Thank you, Rod.
I hope I got everybody there according to my list. I did. But yeah, well, El DeGasto. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but I appreciate you popping in. It takes me a while. I'm slow with those names.
Thank you for joining us.
We thank you. And I think we got everyone. So again, everyone, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of Memorial Day weekend, the 3-day weekend, if you're having that.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Memorial Day is a very important day when you recognize the people who lost their lives defending us. And so big shout out from Clobberin Time to all of them and their families and stuff. So thank you so much. And Monday night, 8 p.m. Central again, the MCU countdown.
Going to be so fun.
Worst to first. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So thanks again, everyone. I'm going to, we're going to play our outro here. So forgot one thing. I always forget something. I'm so sorry. Here we go. Our wonderful first officer. I forget this sometimes, and I beg forgiveness. Number one, please check this link out and go. And
that's so kind.
I always forget about it. She has, of course, some wonderful fiction. In this case, science fiction, if I'm right.
Yes, if you like The Outer Limits, if you like The Twilight Zone, then you will like the kind of science fiction that I write. I write science fiction short stories. I'm a huge fan of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Edgar Allan Poe. I love the short story tradition. So if you love short stories, you can download them onto any device through Amazon, and you can also get them on your Kindle device. And thank you so much for mentioning that, Clobby. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's nothing. It's always in my description below, everyone. But sometimes I just, I go so fast I forget things, unfortunately. But yes, there's the link, everyone, of course, in the chat as well as in the description below. Please go to that and check that out. And I want to thank you all again. And let us, of course, in addition to just having always a fantastic time hanging out and talking with the wonderful Raquel. And yes, they're all wishing you well and the rest well. Ironcaster!
Hey, Ironcaster.
Ironcaster popped in. All right, good. Hey, buddy, we're just running out, man, but it's always good to see you, my friend. He's a good friend of the channel. And he has a channel. There's a link to his channel in my description below as well as many, many other great channels on YouTube that are wonderful friends of the show. So, finally, we are going to run here and play out our wonderful intro that, again, as we owe so much to our wonderful first officer, we owe this as well. This outro is very special to me, and she did a marvelous job on it. And a big hat tip to Mark D with the C for helping us get it on there. Good night, everyone.